on my Instagram. Let me take a quick selfie. And
we're live.
Hi.
Hey everyone, it's Lauren De Laguna. Thank you so much for being here. I am joined by the lovely Jazmen Jafar, big fan. So you have been featured on several big podcasts recently, haven't you? So you've been on whatever podcast, you've been on Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, I've done them both twice.
Oh, nice. And
yeah,
you've been on The Crucible and you were debating Andrew. And yeah, so we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, it's unfortunate because obviously the intros for whatever podcast, Fresh and Fit, they don't take all day to do that. You know, they're not going to spend all day learning about your life. So we're going to spend a minute learning about your life.
Let's do it. And I think it's funny how we kind of met, not kind of virtually, is on accident. And we got into a cute little lawyer cat fight, which was
people like,
I paid attention. And I'm like, well, this.
People want to see a cat fight at the end, so maybe we can get in. So people think of super chats that will make us want to argue, try to get us to fight.
I definitely know we disagree from what I saw. I've only ever seen you on that stream I was on, but you lean more conservative, I'm assuming, at least on certain issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say I'm center left. I'm not super far, but I'm sure we have disagreements.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, tell me about what interested you. What subjects were you interested in as a kid?
I love psych. I love human behavior. If you know me, then you know people my friend group literally calls me a witch, because I will if they have issues with boys or something, I am so good at telling me everything, and I will tell you exactly what he'll text you, when he'll text. I just have, because I'm obsessed with this. So one of the other recent things I did is the Soft White Underbelly interview, and I used to love that channel because I loved hearing people's stories and finding patterns and connections. So that was always human behavior.
You're the second that I've talked to. You're the second person I've talked to who's done that channel. It's a beautiful channel. Yeah, we're gonna.
It's funny because when I first started watching it, I was still in law school, and I never thought I would be a sex worker on the channel. So it's really crazy how that's happened. And then the other thing I've always kind of liked was philosophy. I majored in psych in undergrad, but I didn't get a degree in psych. I mean, in psychology. So I mean in philosophy. So that's actually something that now that I'm out of school and I don't have all that required reading that I mostly didn't do, that you called me out on, I feel like I now get to really hone in on my interest and read a lot of philosophy. So yeah, those are the two
that makes sense. So sorry, I have a cat jumping.
No worries. What a cutie.
So when you went to law school, can you tell me what your law school experience is like? Were you a gunner? Were you interested in specific type of law?
So I guess to talk about why I even went into law is I come from an Iranian immigrant household, and our parents have really stringent expectations on us, and there's just professions that are okay. And I come from a family of lawyers. My mom's a lawyer, my sister's a lawyer, all my cousins are lawyers. My dad's an engineer, and it was very much lawyer, doctor, engineer. What do you want to do? And I've been really good at I'm good at tests. So I was okay, I'll do law. It's funny because people are why would you go through all that work to be a lawyer just to do this? And for me, honestly, being a lawyer was the path of least resistance. It was the most, for me, it was graduating high school. I literally remember actually graduating high school, and I was I told my parents, I'm oh, are you proud? They're no, what, you graduating high school? To them, graduating law school is graduating high school. So for me, I was okay. And I knew I was really good at taking tests. So I did pretty well on the LSAT, and I had a high GPA.
Do you remember your LSAT score?
Yeah, 171.
Oh, that's very good. Okay.
Yeah, I got a really good score. And so I got a lot of offers to some really, really great schools. Yeah. And I accepted like a full ride scholarship to the school that I had chosen, which I'm not going to say on air, but you know it off air.
It's full rides as well. Like
it was a full ride, and I rather do that than go to like, especially because I never was ambitious with what I wanted to do with law. I was just doing it to do it, and I never was like, I never even wanted to do big law. My mom was in big law for a long time. Huh?
I get that, like not being a gunner, like I get that.
Yeah.
Not trying to be in like a top 10 law school, not trying to be like in the top 10 firms, not trying to work in New York City, not trying to, I get that.
That was not my personality, because I'm going to be honest, you call me out. I am lazy. I don't want to bust my ass in like a 9-to-5 work all these hours. I just didn't want to do it. So, but I still knew I had to be a lawyer. So I was like, okay, this is like a great fit. I'm going to do this. And my first semester, like my grades just deteriorated after the first semester because they were still fine. My school ranked the top third of the class. So I was like in that. And then and then COVID hit in the middle of my experience, and everything was online. And then it was like pass fail. And I was like, okay, so now it's like a joke. But until then my 3L year, we were back on, but you could be online. But if you want to know the kind of, I always make this joke that nobody would really expect me to, like anyone that went to law school, or if people would be surprised, like, oh my God, she does OnlyFans now. But if there was like a most likely to quit in OnlyFans, I would have 100% won it. I used to sit in the back. There was no gunner involved with me. I used to wear like crop tops. I love people don't know this online, but I'm really into fashion because I don't show it online. So I come with my fashion. I used to literally not even, I used to have all my books on the computer, and I carried the computer. I wouldn't even take a pencil. So whenever there was an attendance sheet, I would sign it with lip liner. Like that was literally me. I would come in late. I always had my little Starbucks banana bread. I'd bring it for all my friends because I just couldn't.
Okay. Your first semester, what percentage of the reading did you do?
Depends on the class. So I had a really scary, my percentage of reading directly correlated to the cold calling that the professor did. So if there was a professor that either didn't cold call, which 1L year in my school, they were all required to, but there were ones that would do it like you would know the order, or it wouldn't be as tough, or you would know what kind of questions, what are the facts, what's the, and then there were the ones like my contracts professor, my 1L year, that would like humiliate students. So because of that, I read every fucking case damn near, unless I knew I wasn't getting called on because I did something, like I read for that class. For the classes where that wasn't the case, I did like none of it. Quimby.
Oh, you used Quimby.
I literally, to me, by 3L year, doing the reading meant reading Quimby, because sometimes I couldn't even bother to do that.
I actually never got Quimby.
Girl, Quimby was the shit. I feel like all the other like cases.
For those who don't know, can you explain what Quimby is for those who don't know?
Quimby is a very well worth investment for every law student because their case briefs are actually good. There are no other case briefs that are as good as Quimby's case briefs.
So what's a case brief?
Issue rule, like it tells you the facts, then it tells you like the issue, then it tells you the judge's reasoning and the conclusion, and then the black letter law was always like bolded, and it really is all you needed, unless you had a teacher like my contracts teacher that was going to go through every fact and like the stuff that isn't relevant. So if you get a really long case and you look at Quimby, you're going to get the gist of it, especially in classes like, like con law, where you're learning all this shit that doesn't even matter in the beginning because it's not going to be the current, you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there.
Like Marbury v. Madison. So you're like,
or like, go through the Lochner era or something, but the Lochner era is no longer ruling. Like, so you're like, I'm not looking at all these cases just so that it can because what you're tested on is usually the current doctrine, right? You get the fact pattern and then you have to. So I was like, I'm not fucking wasting my time with this shit. So for that kind of shit, I obviously would just Quimby, and I would really only read like cases that were like, cases that I was like, okay, this is like a major case. Or if a teacher, like my strategy was always the reason I always did well on exams, even though I was such a fucking shithead, was because I know how to take exams, and I would use the teacher's own wording. Like I would literally record classes. I wouldn't listen in class, but I would record them. And because teachers love to hear their own phrases regurgitated to them. Like they like love that shit.
So true. That is
so because there are different ways to say the same thing. And teachers use their phrasing with precision. So my con law teacher and your con law teacher have maybe different ways of explaining the same thing. And on an exam, they love to just hear their interpretation, their wording. And so if they really focused on a case and like whatever, then maybe I would read that one. But I wasn't going to do extra work ever in my fucking life. So that's kind of the student I was. People like, you know, I was definitely different. I was not your stereotypical law student, and I still am not your stereotypical lawyer.
Did you enjoy it? Did you have like a good time? We'll have a lot of, you know.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard because COVID hit directly in the middle, but I definitely found like a group of friends that I felt like were very similar to me. We were not the gunners. We were kind of like the kids that people are like, why are they here? They're not taking it seriously, but we still fucking like performed, you know? I grew up in Portland and I went to school outside of Portland, but it's funny because I found like the most Portlandy people in the school.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it kind of became like my crew, but I never did any of the, like, I never volunteered in class. I'm like actually pretty shy. So it's really weird that now I like do these debates. I didn't do moot court, didn't want to do law review, was just trying to skate by and do what I had to do, bare minimum. So that was pretty much my law school experience. But the closer I got to graduation, I was like, I don't want to be a lawyer. I knew I never wanted to be a lawyer. It's the crazy.
Did you do any internships during law school?
Yes, I did clerking.
What
for
kind
a federal judge?
Civil judge?
Yeah, for at the federal courthouse over here. And I also did it for a magistrate judge. And I did both public defender's office and the prosecution appeals bureau. I did the appeals bureau because that's one of the only times you can really work with constitutional issues like Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. Yeah. And so there was actually a running joke that I was like a foot soldier in like, because honestly, well, actually, I'm not going to get into that because that might give you more information on like where I was, but those were good experiences. What else did I do? I did some pro bono. I was a volunteer for like this pro bono, like volunteer based with like attorneys, like estate planning and probate. What else did I do? I feel like those are the main ones.
But it's very interesting because you got like a wide array of law. So you experienced civil law, you experienced criminal law. Not only did you experience criminal law, you experienced criminal law on the prosecution side, you experienced it on the defense side. And did you have like, and you just felt no calling to any of this whatsoever?
No, that's why I had such a wide, you know how they say your 1L year, you can kind of like experiment, but then your 2L and 3L you should be doing, or even like your 2L you could like do, because our school didn't even do internships your 1L year, and then your second and third year you actually had to. And people really honed in on like the area that they wanted to practice. And I like was just like, what fits with my schedule? What's like the easiest? That was always my fucking thing. I never was like, oh, I like this, I don't like this. Obviously there are subjects I hated and there are subjects that I found more interesting. But that was, and I always did the best in the classes where the teachers were like the hardest, because if studying would help you on the exam, I would do worse. If it was one of those classes, you know, where like studying, like the teacher's just so fucking wacko that like you're going to get a question on the exam that he didn't even like, or she didn't even like bring up, like those were the ones I killed it in, because it was like more of a level playing field, because I wasn't one of those ones doing these outlines and then shortening my outline and then shortening my outline. I didn't have that work ethic ever in my life, but because I was able to perform on exams, I didn't need it, because as you know, in law school, your exam, like your grade is almost entirely, maybe sometimes there's like a little bit is based on your final exam. So I was like, cool.
For me, every single class I think was 100%. Maybe there's like one or two classes where it wasn't that way, but like every single class, 100% of your exam or your
grade is literally hinges on your exam.
or maybe you'd have like a midterm for like 20% of your grade.
Yeah, you're 1L year. You're 1L year. I remember Civ Pro. We had like 15% on that midterm, and I didn't Cali it, but I got the second. My friend Cali.
I Cali mine for one.
All right, good for you. I actually never. That was the closest I got to Caliing.
I got one jurisprudence award, and then during a few of my midterms, I got top marks. But
yeah, that was the first exam I took, was that midterm, and I did so fucking well. But as just shows you, then it just like,
yeah.
And that's why when we were on the stream, evidence in particular, because it happened during COVID, it was pass fail, and schools aren't really going to fail anyone because it fucks up their rankings. At least my school wasn't. Like, everyone knows that, unless you're really bad. So I was like, oh, I don't really need to like do anything till like the last day. So when we got on that stream, you guys talking about like evidentiary stuff, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna look so fucking bad.
We were talking about prior bad acts versus like with versus whether or not.
And then I crammed before the bar, and that's all the shit I did on evidence.
But evidence is okay. So when you went to study for the bar, though, so you didn't really study hard in class, you're saying. Then you went to study for the bar. When I asked you last time we were like talking, how much of Barbary did you study? Barbary is the course that you take in order to prepare for the bar.
Yeah.
And you said that you did less than 30% of that. Right.
So I used did you ever hear of the critical pass flashcards?
Yeah.
Those were like my fucking bread and butter, because that
bar?
Huh?
Not Adaptabar?
No. I use that too, but I'm gonna go for, and what was the one? I probably still have the app on my phone. The one where it gave you like a few the multiple choice. I forgot what it's called on the bar, but those questions, it would give you like I don't remember what it was called, but I would do those, and mostly it was the critical pass flashcards, because honestly, I was like freaking out because I was so late with studying. I had gone on a trip, and I saw even the other lazy people were like way ahead of me, and they're like, I've put in this many hours. I was like, fuck. And then one person said, I know a girl who passed just on critical pass flashcards. I was like, okay. So I like that. And again, I'm really good at tests. So I was like, calm down. You don't need the 400 hours of whatever the fuck people are doing. Also, my school has like a 90-something% pass rate on a first.
Oh, okay.
On the first, like, it's like a 90-something% pass rate. So I was like, all right, if I know I'm smarter, I like, not to say that then like a lot of the people in the school, because I, so if and I'm not, it's not the LSAT. You're not trying to get the highest score possible. I was like, I just want to pass. And I also gambled because there was subjects like secure transactions that I still to this day have no fucking idea what a secure transaction is. Never took it in school, and I know that is a testable. That could be a question. It's not on the multiple choice, but it's on the
transaction in which in which the contract isn't fulfilled fully yet on one side, and in order to ensure that it is, there's some sort of security. That's all.
Yeah, so I don't even give a fuck now. So I'm like, but I literally would prefer to go through the rest of my life now without learning what a secure transaction is. Cause like now I'm like, so I like did the whole, like I was looking at like the blue, like all of the, the LSAT prep people that like, so you know how they also do like blogs where they like give you the statistical likelihood that like a certain one is going to be on. So instead of actually, my sister was like, you could just learn secure transactions, but like with all the time you're spending to figure out how likely it is to be on the exam. But I was like, it's really unlikely for this to be on the exam, and I don't have time to learn this subject. I rather really hone in on the ones that I still need to do work on that I know are going to be on it.
Because sometimes like I had an entire like my Florida, so I did Arizona and Florida, and my Florida exam, like 50% of it was corporations and secured transactions.
Wow. Which one was harder?
For me, Florida, because I just like of everything I was going through when I was taking the exam.
Okay.
But then also you have to learn the individual state rules, and you have to differentiate them from the UBE rules. And so when they have like for instance, one of the I can't talk about the specific questions, but one of the issues is like in Florida, whether or not marijuana is a felony and therefore gives like a Fourth Amendment right, like for the officers.
I hated when you had to learn like in contracts the UPC versus the I'm like, give me one fucking rule. This is giving me fucking. I literally remember taking the bar and I'm like, if I don't pass, I'm not doing this again. Like, it's just, I'm not doing this again.
That's kind of, I don't want to talk about it too much, but I took the Arizona bar and then I upset one of the proctors, and I'm still dealing with that process.
You have to tell me about this.
But for over a year, they didn't give me my score in Arizona. And I eventually got my score, and I'm still waiting on character and fitness, which is just taking forever.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it's taking forever too.
Oh, really? Okay. And then, then I took the bar in Florida, and I went into the bar, like, am I ever going to get my Arizona score? Like, so I was like, I signed up for the Florida bar. Like, I'll just not take it once I know for sure about my score. And I just never got my score. And so I went into Florida. I did 97% of Barbary, maybe 98% of Barbary for Arizona. But then Florida, I did about 20%, maybe less.
How much of the exam is content that's UBE?
So it's one day. So the first day is 100% Florida, and then the second day is 100% like UBE.
And like section wise, is it like?
There was 3 sections that were multiple choice and 1 section that was writing, and my writing was trash. My multiple.
That was what I was most scared of.
Yeah, my multiple.
So I was like, secure transactions, because on the UBE, secure transactions isn't on the multiple choice. It could only be a short. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And when I took it, it was the first day that you do the 2 sections that are writing. One of them is like the memo or whatever, and then it's the short answer essay portion. And I was like, even though I do way better on essays than I do on multiple choice usually, but it's just easier on your nerves to know that you're just clicking shit and circling shit instead of like writing, especially memorization. Because I don't know how I'm pretty sure most law schools, including mine, most of your exams are open. Like, you don't have to memorize.
Like, a lot of them are open book.
Yeah. So you just have to know how to apply the law and issue spot and do all that. So there's not a lot of, at least in my experience, memorization going on in law school. But then the bar is a lot of memorization.
Mm-hmm. I feel like my classes were 50-50. I had some that were open book, some that were like bring a note, some.
Oh, the outline, yeah.
Yeah, and then some were like nothing. So
I had a couple of classes with like 1 page front and back or something. I did have that. But that's where you wrote all the rules out. So you didn't have to like memorize them really.
And for my outline, I would just like take notes throughout the semester and then make it really clean, and then I'd have a perfect outline by the end of this, so I wouldn't really have to prep too hard at the end.
You're the girl that I would be like, can I have your outline?
And I would send it, and I'd be like, here you go. And I had it on my iPad all like, because it was like,
good. You were one of those. I was like that too. I was like, everyone can take my shit, but there's some people in law school that are like, my outline.
So weird. I really avoided those people though. Like, everybody I hung out with shared outlines, but when people sent me their outline, I rarely ever actually read it.
It was like a comfort.
Usually your own outlines are the only ones that help you. But I want to get back into you, and I want to get back into like, okay, so right after law school, you join a firm and you were only there for 7 months. Can you explain
So was it right after? It was after the bar. So I had like and I never had anxiety before in my life. Like, I'm not a really anxious person, but there was something, and I didn't even know to call it anxiety because that's how little I had dealt with like anxiety in my life. But I genuinely was like, I am frozen. I don't want to apply for jobs. Like, because I don't want to do this. Like, but okay. So how after law school, your main purpose, even if you do have a job, is to study for the bar. So that was like what I was doing. I was studying for the bar, but that's when I started my OnlyFans too. So after the bar, because the scores don't come out. I took a July one. They come out September, and I think when I took it. And so between July and September, so like August and stuff, I was lying to my parents, and I was like, I'm applying. I wasn't applying for shit. and I was making money. Then through an externship I did, that volunteer one that I did, she emailed me and said, like, there's this firm, they're looking for an associate. And I didn't even want to go. Like, I was like, oh. And my sister was like, are you just like fucking retarded? Like, go. And like, what are you going to do? Like, just do both. So I went, I actually got hired. And that was in October of that year. And I was there until April or May. I don't even remember. So that was literally my
treated in the workforce.
Huh?
Like as an employee. How were you treated like as an employee there?
Good. My firm was like small to because I wasn't doing big law. It was like a little boutique firm, and it was mostly women, which was cool. There was obviously some male attorneys, and that's part of the reason I didn't leave for so long, because I had such a good experience there. The partners were super sweet. My mentor there, I love her to this day. She's like fucking amazing. The dude in my office buddy, the lawyer in the office next to me, is like a 50-something-year-old Mormon guy who I was like literally so I never told him that I did what I did, and then there was like a Business Insider article about it, and he saw that and he's like, that's fucking awesome. Why didn't you tell me? I was like, okay. So like super great, supportive, wonderful people, and I wasn't
scared that you did OnlyFans when they found out.
They didn't know. Oh, you're saying at my firm?
Yeah.
Well, when they found, I told my mentor, and pretty much I never wanted to tell the partners, because the partners at my firm would have a huge fucking problem with it.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't tell anyone about it, anybody, until I left. And then I told like my people, and obviously I chose people to tell that I knew would be like cool with it. I think right now they know, because they have like, you can still find, it was like right before I left, we did attorney pictures and they had like a picture of all of us on the thing. And now like you could still find it, but they've like tried to wipe like my existence like off of the firm, because they're like,
does that hurt you? Why do you think that is?
No, I get it. You know, this was a firm for, we did estate planning for wealthy conservative people mostly. Of course they didn't want that as like something to like harm their image and that's part of the reason I try to never disclose where I work, because I don't want them to get harassed because of hiring me. When they
should harm their image, or do you think that it should be like normalized to have attorneys that are also making an income, like doing OnlyFans or doing some other sort of?
It should be normalized, and it should be up to the clients. Like, kind of like, do you have a problem with your attorney doing OnlyFans, and go with a different attorney, kind of thing. But I also understand that with the current climate, and a law firm has the right to pick the people that work there to be representative of their company or firm values. You know what I mean? So I don't knock them for that. I'm not like, you must accept that I do OnlyFans, or you're like some of my friends are like that. I'm personally not.
That do OnlyFans and are
but they are very much like, oh, it shouldn't matter at all. And like, they even debate about like whether it's like, if you could even like, I'm like, you know what I mean? I am more like, hey, you know, I don't even know if I had a firm, I would probably be like, yeah, cool. I actually want to hire like all porn stars, but I'm a fucking weirdo. I totally get, especially the older generation of attorneys being like, no, you know what I mean? Like no one wants to, I get the idea that no one wants to like Google their lawyer and it's like me with my tits out. So I don't
depends. I guess depends who your client is. Maybe they do.
Exactly. I think some of them wouldn't. I always was so nervous too that they would find out. I went through like phases. Like sometimes I'm like, I would be so confident they weren't going to find out. But then other times I'd walk in and I'm like, you're such a fucking idiot. Obviously these people are going to find out. And at the time I was only using Reddit to promote. So I was like, okay, I'm just using Reddit. Like I'm not talking about, I wasn't sharing my story much. Like I wasn't like 304 lawyer or anything. And I was like, my clients are usually older. I didn't even have clients. Like because I couldn't actually practice as an attorney until I got my character and fit, until I was sworn in. And that wasn't until like,
Tell me about it.
So at that point, I was just shadowing a lot. And they didn't even pay me as a lawyer yet because I wasn't able to act as one. And I got it like the end of, so actually, if you want to say the time I practiced full time as an actual lawyer, it was like 3 months, basically.
Wow.
Because before that, I was just shadowing and I had my mentor and I was doing the work, but I couldn't like sign anything or actually represent anybody as a lawyer until I was actually a lawyer. And so, but every time my boss would call me into her office, because I also didn't really have to meet my billables yet because I wasn't a lawyer. But once that was starting to become a thing and she'd call me in, I was like, shit, is she calling me in because she found in my OnlyFans or because I'm not doing anything? I was like, which one is it, and I felt guilty while I was there because I was like, these people they put so much into me and they were so like excited to have me on their team. And, they were like really nice to me. Like they weren't pushing me too hard. They liked me a lot. Like I would say like most people at that firm would have said like I'm their favorite person, even the paralegals, the receptionist, because that's also because I didn't work a lot and I just talked a lot. But I feel like, I felt guilty that they were investing so much in me when I knew that if they found out what I did, they would fire me and it would have been a waste for them. Like they didn't really
now, like, do you feel a little bit like, yeah, do you feel guilty now about everything?
Now, no, because I feel like now they'd be over it. And I know it's just it's part of the game of like associates leave, associates come, like, you know what I mean? It's not like a lot of people some people stay with the same firm for a really long time, but a lot of people, I actually just went to lunch with the Mormon guy next to me, like a couple, like 2 months ago, because he left. He's like, oh, I left the firm. Like, you know what I mean? Like people leave, but because they were putting so much into training me, taking me places, making things, like calling me into the office to show me how to do things when they're doing it. Like it was like, and I felt really, really bad, especially for my mentor, even though she's super understanding. It was great with it because she was about to go on maternity leave. So I was actually being trained to take her caseload. And then, so so I felt really guilty there. Our court runner and like I don't know what to call her, the HR person was like one of the partners' in-laws. So they were like this really cute, like old couple. And she would literally like knit me things and like decorate my office for my birthday with all my favorite things and like bring me blanket. Like it was like I had a little office grandma, and I'm like, this office grandma's heart is about to be broken if she finds out what I'd be doing on the down low.
Yeah.
So that was really like, I felt guilty about that. Now, like, no, I mean, like, I'm sure the firm is fine. They've recovered from Jazmen Jafar.
What kind of content do you post on your OnlyFans?
Now I post everything I do at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
I would do nudes, but it was all like solo. But I don't even think it matters. Like, I think if you're doing nude content, like fully nude content, I don't think the line for like these kind of firms is, oh, but she does. It's like the image is the image. And so
do you do BG now?
Yes, now I do BG, but that started like towards the beginning of this year, which is like a year almost after I had left. So at the time I didn't do BG, but again, like I don't think it would have really mattered. I know that if they knew, the partners would have booted me. So it's
what does your family think about all of this?
They're not happy about it. So I actually told them even before I got that job, and they actually they hadn't talked to me for a while, and they texted me like, great, now you have a job where you're helping people. So now you can put that nonsense, filthy job aside. And like, they really thought like, okay, she fucked up, but now and I was like, I'm doing both. What do you mean? So they're not happy with it, but eventually like, they are like, well, what are we going to do? Like never talk to our daughter again. And I grew up really, really close to my family, like super close. super close to my dad. Like my dad and I talk every single day. And so I knew, and I'm privileged in the sense because I knew that they weren't going, like I knew that it wasn't like I was never going to see my parents again or they were going to disown me. I knew that they just like fucking loved me too much. And I know like sometimes when I say that, I don't like it pisses people off because it's like they want my parents to have like been really pissed about it. And they were, but now it's like she's going to do what she's going to do. It's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. They're really like save your money, save your money, save your money, because I was always a big spender. And now that I make a shit ton of money, they're like worried I'm going to blow it. Like that's kind of like their main concern now. They've given up on, you know.
Yeah. It's funny that, not funny, but it's interesting that you say that people get upset with you for your dad saying, or that your dad loves you.
Yeah.
And you think that they get upset at you because they wish that your dad was more upset with you. Do you think maybe
they're mad that I got away with doing what I'm doing? That's what it comes down to. I chose to go against the grain, break the path I'm supposed to be on, and they want me to face consequences for that. And when they're seeing, oh, no, I still have a good relationship with my family, it pisses them off. Or no, I mean, even if I stop doing OnlyFans, like my parents are pretty well off. Like they're like, you're going to be working at Burger King. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm never going to be working at Burger King. Like it's just not a possibility for me in my life, even if I like, and that really enrages people. It enrages people that I have all this privilege and I chose this, and they have like a revenge fantasy almost, especially like angry men, like the incel, like kind of community, the red pill, like the fresh and fit fans, those type of people. It's like they need the other shoe to drop because it's like you chose to be a 304, and you need to face consequences for that. And so this is a potential consequence. Your dad must fucking hate you. Actually, no, my dad fucking loves me and he spoiled me and I don't have daddy issues. They're like, that pisses them off.
I think it's interesting where you think that it pisses them off because like they want you to seek some sort of justice or some sort of do you think any bit of it has to do with the fact that like a lot of these people who watch the red pill stuff, maybe their fathers or maybe they have sisters and they really love like a particular girl, and she starts engaging in maybe like OnlyFans or things that would upset them. And they're like, why doesn't this girl love me enough to not engage in that content? Especially when she's privileged enough to not need to.
I don't think so, especially if you're actually in it and you're seeing the comments and the wording. It's not like, oh, this is really like you'll get those like, this is really sad. You could be so much more than this. Those are like less than 5% of those kind of comments. Most of the comments is like, you're a whore, you're going to pay for this. Like it is that sentiment that's driving them, because like people like on Fresh and Fit, there is a big sentiment of, I don't like women. I don't like women who do this. They're sluts and they're going to get like, that's what the whole show is. You're going to have consequences. Nobody's ever going to love you. You're going to be lonely forever, blah, blah, blah. And also there's the cultural component for me being Middle Eastern and it being so against our culture and I guess religion, even though I'm an atheist. And so I get a lot of that, like from the Middle Eastern community or Middle Eastern or the Middle Eastern men that like are Fresh and Fit fans that come to me and they're like, you disgraced your father. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, well, we have a fine relationship. And that bothers them because I'm breaking the cultural norm and I shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I get that. We do have a super chat, so let me get to it. Lauren, would you hire Jazmen as your lawyer?
I wouldn't. I have like barely any experience.
The reasons I wouldn't hire you is because lack of experience and your lack of dedication to the craft. Like if you were truly passionate about being an attorney, you seem very smart and you seem like you would be decent if you wanted to be, but it seems like that's not what you want to be. So for those reasons, I'm out. Yeah. But no, yeah, otherwise, yeah, I mean, 171 on the LSAT, that's quite impressive. That's extremely impressive.
I was always very capable, but like you said, I just don't have the drive. and you want somebody with the drive. You rather take the less smart person that's going to fight for you instead of doing like the bare minimum work. And yeah, I don't have a ton of experience. So why would you hire an attorney that was trained and then worked like 3 months? I've worked at my mom's firm before too, but not at like, you know what I mean?
So, okay. Yeah, no, I totally do understand what you mean. But I have to ask, like, what compels you to do this if it's not the finances? Like, you have all the finances in the world, you could have whatever you want. And one, let's back up 1 second. How much more are you making, like, multiplied buys with only?
I am making probably a first year's associate's like salary, maybe not like big law, in a month.
Okay.
So I am making 7 figures a year right now, which you don't make in law unless you've worked decades and decades and you're like a partner and like you know what I mean? You know that. Yeah. So yeah, the pay is much better. And I mean, I don't have enough right now that I feel like I could retire myself. So there's still that component of why I'm doing it. It's not that, you know, I didn't win the Powerball. It's if I never worked again a day in my life, I'd run out of money for sure. And I don't want to like live off my parents because that's not the kind of freedom I want. But also, I actually weirdly like this. Like I like it. And it's funny because you said, like I've said even, I don't have much work ethic, but I weirdly like have work ethic on the internet. And part of that is like if you guys go to my Instagram comments, for instance, I like arguing and I like the marketplace of ideas, and what I do triggers so many people. And I truly enjoy combating that rhetoric or using it to start dialogue, which I didn't even intend to do when I started doing this job. But now it's like become such a part of what I like to do online. And I genuinely enjoy that part.
So you're a little shit stirrer. You're a little combative troublemaker is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I feel like I am through just being my existence and what I do. I don't have to, if I like this interview is the kind of interview that pisses people off. Like this is the type of shit, right? Me being like, yeah, I chose to do OnlyFans, like, and I'm a lawyer. Oh, that pisses people off to know. I have like the craziest kinds of haters. And some of them are just like actually like cognitively impaired, but some of them actually show they share a sentiment that's reflective of the narrative society holds. And I think I am passionate, like, right? I wasn't really passionate about the law, but I am passionate about breaking through the stigma surrounding sex work and sex workers and breaking those stereotypes, because I am a clear example of somebody who doesn't fit any of the stereotypes of an OnlyFans girl. And I enjoy that. I enjoy showing the world that. So I actually really like this. Like even if I could retire, I probably would you'd still see me online. Maybe not as much, or you know what I mean?
So, I mean, there's not anything about the law that just like really, like, does true crime get you going?
I like true crime, but not like the legal. I like hearing about the fucking crime because I'm a weirdo and I'm like, I like the psych part of it. I like the law because like my strengths really align with like law school. I'm good at analyzing. I like logical reasoning, like LSAT type of shit, which is like the skills you kind of utilize in law school. I'm good at it and I kind of enjoy it. Like that's why I like essay exams. Like give me a 4-hour essay exam, time will fly by because I get passionate. I'm like, this is how to distinguish and like blah blah blah. Like I will literally distinguish like everything, and I actually. It's the same part of me that like likes to debate and argue online now, which is kind of like what I've been doing, that also likes that part of the law. I like arguing my position. I like playing even devil's advocate. I like to think. And I'm sure you've heard the saying that law school doesn't teach you the law, it teaches you how to think. Mm-hmm. That part I like.
Yeah.
But I don't like day to day, okay, let me write this motion or whatever, I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, though, that would be going to like legal secretaries and paralegals.
Yeah, but you still have to have like a memo, or like in my work, like it's like you would do the, okay, let me know your estate plan. Let me do, like, I don't, or billing your time in 6-minute increments. I don't want any motherfucker telling me I have to work a certain amount of hours a day. Who the fuck are you? Fuck you. And this is just me being a spoiled brat. I don't like that part. I don't like I like to argue and to write things and to argue my position when I feel like it. And that's not how jobs work. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So, but like, wouldn't you do a better job pissing people off if you're doing OnlyFans content creation and still working as an attorney, like taking on cases and stuff? And we have the batch code says that I'd hire Jazmen. I hear 304s make the best lawyers.
I think 304s make the best everything. My life goal isn't to piss people off, it's to be happy. And why would I do something that like makes me not happy to piss people off? Plus, honestly, OnlyFans, especially with what I'm doing now, I'm trying to start YouTube, I'm trying to do other things. It's a full-time job. I don't even have fucking time to also do law just to like tell people that I'm doing it. I don't even like, again, I don't think a lot of firms would take me. There might be some, but I just don't, I quit because I didn't want to do it. So why would I keep doing it?
That's fair. That's fair. What's been the biggest downside of doing OnlyFans?
The deplatforming, the feeling like, when you're a lawyer, you feel like almost not like the law is on your side, but you're in the institution that has all the power, kind of. Yeah. And then when you're on OnlyFans, you're like in the most almost marginalized community, which is sex workers. And you don't have any of that privilege. You don't have, you're like alone. There's no like HR person, or there's no mentor. There's no, like you're working alone, isolated. And it seems like the whole world sometimes is against you. And I don't really care about that, but the platforms, like,
right,
OnlyFans is sometimes difficult to deal with. Like they can shut down my account right now, and you know what I mean? I've lost so many Instagram accounts, TikTok accounts. Like it's like a reality of doing OnlyFans. It's not like I'm fucking a beauty YouTuber selling lipsticks. Like it's really hard to promote your OnlyFans when a lot of the platforms that you have to promote it on don't allow it. So that's been.
But why would OnlyFans take down your account?
OnlyFans shuts down accounts all the time. OnlyFans has to adhere to the increased banking and like the regulations surrounding this kind of content. So they have really cracked down, and they'll shut down people's accounts for not having forever like anything that you do in DMs right now. So like I will admit I'm a bigger creator on there, so they're not as trigger happy to like shut someone like me down without like a warning. But if there are creators that have ever mentioned like meeting off platform, which I haven't done, or like even me when I was first uploading my BG partners like a verification, and I uploaded the front of his ID twice instead of the front and the back of his ID, and they like froze everything for like a minute. And because I'm a bigger creator, they like it was like in a couple of days. But I know girls that process takes way longer, and those are the girls that actually need the money to pay their rent. I have enough that I didn't, and it's like most of the women on OnlyFans, like it's not easy, and they do shut down your account. They do freeze your shit for stuff like that. The AI will catch things and give you like a strike. You can get strikes literally on your account, and there's nothing you could really do about it if they don't have to have you on the platform.
Well, why do you think that there's any legal case to be had there about having some sort of a contract and then following the rules of that contract? And
100%. But the difference is that a lot of times, because of the liability that they might face otherwise, they do shut down people's accounts unjustly, unfairly, without explanation, because they can, and that's the better move for them. But that's not the most ethical move.
Even if do you think there's any sort of legal right that content creators have to say, like, I have an expectation of creating a revenue. This is the space in which we contractually agreed that this is where I can make a revenue. I signed AdSense. I'm monetized. You can't just take that away from me.
I would say that maybe you could argue that they can't take people down. Like they need to get indiscriminately. Like imagine if they were shutting down Black creators or something all of a sudden. Like they have a case there, right? They did. People say this now. I can't confirm this, that they do tend to shut down like LGBTQ people more often or whatever, that they let the creators like me that fit the certain persona get away with things that they don't let other people get away with. They keep the money a lot of the time. Like they'll just say, oh, your account, I've seen all the, like your page has been terminated, and people have money in there. I think there's a claim to say, like, you can't just take the money that I've earned, that's stealing, without giving me a reason as to why.
Would it not be fascinating if you were to be the attorney who files the class action lawsuit on behalf of all content creators too?
I think that would be amazing, but I don't think I have the skill set for that, and I don't have the time for that right now.
So what does your day-to-day life look like?
I have an assistant that helps me with like Reddit and stuff. I have been traveling quite a bit. I do answer. So I take a hard stance on this. I don't work with a manager. I don't work with an agency, and I will not hire anybody to talk to people who pay to talk to me. So I answer all my own messages, and I have thousands upon thousands of fans. So I get hundreds of messages a day. That takes me a long time to go through. And I could have, I don't think it's ethical. I think it's literally fraud, personally, to have people pay to speak to you and have someone else pretending to be you. I refuse to do that.
Well, when guys ask you, like, do guys ever ask to hang out? Like,
yeah, and I don't do that.
But what do you say? You just say no?
First of all, you have to on OnlyFans. But yeah, I just say, no, virtual. I'm virtual only. That's what I say.
So you're virtual only. And then what, like, if they're like, oh, baby, like, I love you. What's like, how are you? Do you respond like, oh, I love you too? Like, how does that work?
I don't have time. No, I have way so I don't even offer really much like sexting or anything anymore. You can DM me like, hey, I really like your content. Great. Do you have any of this kind of content? Cool. But there's no like, how's your day? I feel bad because I say good. And if they keep going, I'm like, I'd love to respond more. I just have too many messages, and I'm the one answering all of them because that's how I think my page should be run. So I don't have time to facilitate. What are your hobbies? What's this? What's that? And I also do not like to facilitate any kind of parasocial relationship. So if I do find a fan is like, I love you, and they're like, I will restrict them. I'll just restrict them, and I'll be like, I don't think this behavior is healthy. I don't offer the girlfriend experience. I don't do any of that. And I think it's a misconception about OnlyFans that a lot of guys are on their lonely trying to find connection, because I would say like out of the fans that subscribe to you, less than 20% even message you. And out of that 20% that message you, they're not all like, I love you. It's like 5%. So it's not hard to still, I'm an example, have a successful OnlyFans page without doing any of that or facilitating any of that kind of behavior.
How many videos do you post? Like, how often are you posting videos?
So I post on my wall every single day. I go every other day, once or twice. And then I put the longer content that I send out in messages every other day. So it's like a lot of content.
And every day is like by yourself, or how often are you doing BG content?
So me and my BG partner, he doesn't live here. So he has like a job where he moves around a lot. So when he has like a job somewhere, I will sometimes fly in, we'll hang out, and we'll film, and I'll get like a good batch for like 6 weeks. And then I'll see him again, and I'll keep I like to make, like, right now, probably 60 to 70% of my content is with him. But I also still do my solo stuff. I go live once a week.
What percentage does he get?
Nothing.
He gets it for free? Yeah, okay.
He doesn't, I don't pay him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so he just does it for free?
Yeah, he does it for free because he gets to have sex with me and film it. I feel like that's totally fair.
Fair. I felt dumb as soon as the question left my mouth. I was like, he gets it for free? No, fucking, he wants it.
Yeah, in fact, like how it started was he has a fetish for, he literally has a folder, like he films his sexual escapades, so he wanted to film it. I'm like, hold up, motherfucker, I do OnlyFans, so if I'm filming this, you're gonna sign a fucking consent form, here's your paperwork, and I'm gonna sell this shit. He's like, okay. So
Is this like a boyfriend? Or
No,
like,
it's just like a friend. And also he's successful. He doesn't like need the money. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure he would like it. But he it's not like somebody who doesn't have a really decorated career himself.
And how long have you known? Or I mean, I guess you don't have.
A year and a half. I don't know. Oh no, a year. No, not more than a year.
Yeah, I would just be like, I don't know. I'd just be concerned, like the trust that, like, do you not have any concern about like him being a not trustworthy? I don't know.
No, in fact, he should have more of that with me because he is somewhat. He has if he's anonymous in my videos. And if I were to reveal that would fuck him and his career.
Yeah.
So he's actually putting the trust in me to not show him and have people like recognize and then him having the consequences at his job. So he's putting the trust in me, especially when he's getting kind of nothing out of it, more so than I am with him, because I don't know what he could possibly like, and you know, just like who he is, he wouldn't have gotten to where he is if he was like that, like if he was that kind of psycho.
That makes sense. Well, do you want to review some of the more like viral clips from?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here, and I'm gonna let you choose which video. Which one is this? The one that you wanted to review?
I don't even know what that is, but let's click on it. Sure,
let's do it.
I don't know what it is. That was my first time doing a podcast too. I was actually really nervous for this. I don't really get nervous that much anymore, but I was super nervous for this one. And then after this one, I did the one with Lauren Chen where I just fucking talked the whole fucking time.
Did you think it went well, the whatever podcast?
Yeah, I actually think I'm happy with all. I'm not happy with every individual moment. Like there are things, obviously, when you look back, you're like, oh, like I feel like the first time I did Fresh and Fit, I didn't do a good enough job of distinguishing between me personally and the things I was sharing about the divorce statistics or the experience of educated women. Because every time they would do that, they're like, well, you're a porn star. And I should have been like, well, we're not talking about me. I'm an anomaly. But sometimes I fed into it. And I was like, well, it's okay. I'm a porn star. Like, you know what I mean? So there's like regrets like that. But I feel like something just happens when I'm usually there where I'm like, I get like, because they're wrong. So I just want to tell them they're wrong. And like time like flies by. And then I actually do get a like traction from it, even on my OnlyFans, because contrary to red pill belief, men are extremely turned on by personality and intelligence. And
I mean, I do find it quite interesting. Like red pill men are like, we're into virgins and we're into
like, don't speak English that we're going to another country to find. I'm like,
and it's like, why are you dating like only? But usually they date OnlyFans models, and it's like you're not into virgins then. But okay, so let's go ahead and play this sucker. Let's check it out.
All right. Oh, there is, and me on the side too.
Is that like a genuine answer? Or?
I mean, how to rate someone's overall value on a numerical scale?
Oh,
Well,
this
you
is
said
a
one for looks?
1 to 10 whole thing that they do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you're a 1?
Yeah.
Is that like a troll answer? Or is that like?
Well, I don't look at people. I don't look at myself or look at people like, are they an 8 or a 9? Like, I'm not 12. Like, that's like a whimsical and arbitrary thing. It's like bizarre. It's silly, in my opinion. I could say that person's overall attractive. I find myself conventionally attractive, yes, but I'm not like.
Oh, so then you're not a 1 then.
Number 1.
I'm beyond the scale.
Tell me if there's some deep analysis I'm supposed to be doing here, Frank. It's just, I think it's a juvenile question. So yes, I gave a juvenile.
It's like back in middle school.
Why is it?
rating.
Why is it a juvenile question?
Because rating people, like I said, I don't look at people like, are you an 8?
I mean, I agree. Like, what do you think? Does that clip get any spicier to your recollection, or?
I mean, we go into, he asked me, would you date a guy who's like 5, whatever? And I say, well, or would you date a guy shorter than you? I'm fucking 5 feet. So I was like, I mean, I don't really deal with that problem. But I was like, I would date a guy like, let's say 5, 6 and up. He's like, so you're rating them? I'm like, no, that's a threshold. That's like a threshold of like, attractive or not attractive. Then we get into the subjective, objective component of it, where I say there is an objective component to beauty, but there is also a subjective component to beauty. And I bring up like studies where different cultures have different hip to waist ratios they prefer, or they've done studies, and then actually when like people in, let's say there was like a country in Africa and they had different preferences, and then they moved to the UK, and over generations, those preferences started to align more and more with like the UK preferences. So there clearly is a cultural component to what you find beautiful. Even you can look at through time, what body types were seen as attractive and stuff. So I was just saying it's not super objective. Like there are objective, like symmetry, there are certain things like that, but to pretend that there is an objective, you're a 10, you're a 9. I literally never like look at guys and I'm like, oh, he's like 7, he's an 8, but like he might be a 9 because he's 2 inches taller. Like it's like crazy to me. And I'm sure you might share like a similar sentiment, because this is not how like normal people like fucking are.
Yeah.
And so like even this like whole body count thing, like I've never heard that term ever in my fucking life.
Have you ever had a man who, I don't think I've ever had a man I was dating, even for like a while, ask me
that. Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? Like, that's something I ask every single woman I've ever dated. And I was like,
who are you hanging out with?
Yeah, that's so wild. And then also like, I've never even thought to ask a guy like how many women he's been with. Like you're with me now.
Exactly. And then the whole like, do you think that's like Brian always asks it, would you object to a man caring about body count? And I'm like, I mean, people can care about whatever they want to care about. But is it my type of guy who's like, oh, it's your body count? And I would say, like, I would be like, okay, you're like a weirdo to me. And
that's how I feel about it. Like, yeah. I feel like you're really deeply insecure. I like you care about my body count because you're concerned that you might not be able to satisfy me, and like somebody in the past possibly has, and like you hope that I feel a little bit like men who want virgins, and I'm going to get hate for this because like so much of my audience is red pill, and I love you guys anyway. You could leave a comment, leave a hate comment with
mine is too, because they hate me and they want to talk about it. So
but I feel a little bit like these guys, like who want virgins, they want someone young, like really creepily young, like it like kind of gross, or they want someone like deeply inexperienced and like doesn't know what it's supposed to feel like, because they don't know how to make a woman feel how they're supposed to feel. And that's just how I feel about this situation.
Yeah, I feel like
I do understand the point of view where it's like, no, I just don't want the woman that I love. I don't even want to imagine her, with all of these other men. Like have you ever seen Best in Show? It's
no.
It's a movie about it's like a joke. It's like a documentary joke. It's not a real documentary. And it's about a dog show. And so like all of these people take their dog to the dog show, and it follows all of these people around and their dogs. Anyway, there's one couple who take their dog, and the woman, everywhere they go, every time they do an interview, like she's already fucked the cameraman, she's already fucked like the guy at the diner, she fucked the guy who works at the hotel, she fucked the guy, and her husband, just every time they like got into the situation, her husband was like, oh, and she's flirting with that guy. It's just mortally embarrassing to him. So I do understand that perspective where you want
to. That's why I always say, like, when they're like, you're saying body count isn't important at all. I think body count, I don't care about it. I think it's a weird thing to ask someone, but it can be indicative of your lifestyle. Like even me, I don't drink, I don't really party. So if a guy was like, I've slept with like 3, I'd be like, oh, you probably drink and party a lot, because that's usually the setting where this occurs. And I don't do that. So maybe we're not compatible. I also totally understand people that have like religious conservative values that want somebody that share those values. So I don't knock other people for caring about it. I do think a lot of it has to do with what you said, though, that it is an insecurity. My theory on at least some, I would say Myron actually does like women that like me, but he doesn't like to relinquish power. And you have that power with those younger women and the stupider women and the ones that like are like more submissive that you won't have with me. And he needs that power so much because he's insecure that he is like, I don't actually want to be attracted to the woman that I'm with, because if you can, like, when they talk about these women, they like act like they're like, I don't like them to talk. I don't want to live with them. I don't want them. Like, you don't actually like them. This isn't how people talk about people that they like. You claim to like young virgins, but you don't even like them, because when you like someone, you don't want to not be around them ever. And you don't want to never hear them talk, right? They're like, oh, they all talk about the same shit. They talk about like astrology. I'm like, if you're better than me, that's what I told him. Like, you're better than me, Myron, because if someone talks about their fucking stars, then I'm out the door. So I understand why you don't want to be around these women. They sound fucking boring. And you like that because when they're boring, but they like you have your power, but you have a whole show where you like to go back and forth with people. You're attracted to people who can banter with you. And you, like someone like me, you don't have that power over me. You may actually like me, and that is weakness for you. So you're going to go for the fucking 18-year-old that can't speak English half the time because you don't actually like her. That's not what you actually like. And that's for some of them. I would say like I'd put Myron in that category.
Interesting. I'm going to avoid the gossiping train just because I try to stay on Myron's good side. I consider him like a friend. I know he jokes about being a little anti-Semitic, but I don't think he means it, especially because he jokes about.
That's your issue with him, not calling women stupid for 6 hours a week.
I think that although he does have an entire show where that's essentially the premise, I do think that his reasons behind doing it are pretty pure, whereas like not all the men in the red pill space, in fact the majority of them, don't have pure intentions. Like
what are his pure intentions?
Like I think he genuinely believes that a lot of men, specifically incels, especially shy type men like he is, have trouble with dating in the modern realm, have a very difficult time understanding the modern woman, and he is trying to help men who have such a difficult, could you imagine having gone your entire life having never had sex, like having never experienced, like I remember when I was younger, before I had my first kiss, like really deeply longing for that and like wanting to know what that was like. I couldn't imagine and there's so many men these days that never really get to hook up with girls, that never really get that human experience at a normal human level, like amount. And I think Myron tries to help those.
You can do that without like just shitting on the gender, because that's the thing. But there's benevolent sexism, there's hostile sexism. He is hot. Like when even Brian doesn't come on and say things like women are useless. These are things that Myron says women are
so funny. I think Brian's so much worse than Myron.
I think you can argue
debate on this.
I know the rhetoric. You can't even say that they're comparable. The rhetoric out of Myron is actually, and it's crazy when he like on one of the episodes, he goes like, what you do is wrong because corporate America doesn't like. I'm like, you're the only person less hireable than me, because what woman even wants to work with somebody who speaks about women? Not that this is the way their nature is, but you think their nature is stupid. Like he says women don't have critical thinking skills. Women can't engage in deductive reasoning. I fucking kick his ass day and night in deductive reasoning.
Wait,
I don't know.
Say that? When did he say that?
He says things like that, like repeatedly. He even said, oh, they're useless. They're not really this. Like he actually just shits on women instead of like, I don't see this. Oh, I'm just trying to show you guys their nature. I'm trying to help you guys. Like I watched a little bit yesterday after my debate of Alex's content, though he moderated I feel like he's doing it.
Yeah, I did actually pull that. You're talking about
it's a good exercise to help
Alex from play. Like I feel like he is trying to help those men.
You're talking about this right now.
Oh.
Yeah. Is this your Alex Fire?
Huh?
Is this what you're talking about, Alex?
Yeah, Alex right there. Yeah. I feel like doesn't he do like dating like content? Yeah. I don't like that kind of content. I think it's fucking corny, but I feel like you could argue that he's trying to help those men. I have the book of Boys and Men right there from Richard Reeves, who is right. I think there are really men's issues. There are men struggling, but the way to combat that is not to get online and call women whores and sluts and all the shit that I think Myron does. So I don't even think it's a question that Myron is not helping. And he says one thing online and says another. I was like the most annoying. He hates me, right? if you hate me and you're talking shit about me for 4 or 5, like you say I'm the most annoying masculine, and then you're in my DMs 10 minutes like later asking to take me to dinner. Like, is this? I feel this goes against everything you're saying in your fucking. You're like, you know what I mean? Like, what? You don't have any other options, Mr. High Value Man. You have to pick the most annoying person you've probably ever met in your life. Do you want to keep talking to me? We already went 4 hours. Do you want to sit across dinner and keep fucking going at it? I thought you didn't like that. Why aren't you with the 18-year-old virgin? Why are you with the combative masculine, you know?
Was he inviting you to the like the group dinner that they do after every show?
No, he wasn't. I posted it after this last time. He was in my DMs and he said, I think you need a non-liberal jerk to keep you in line. Let's link tonight or tomorrow. And no, I don't split checks with a winky face.
Oh, that's kind of cute. No?
Lauren, you need to fucking get yourself together. Like, to me, that just is. And he's like, I'm just trying to fuck, because now we're like in this beef.
Wait, hold on. Here's the difference, though. Myron at least invited you to dinner. No, he didn't ask you to go into his bedroom. Better than a lot of. I'm just saying there are people who do the exact same job as Myron, where all they do is dunk on women and their high body counts. And then instead of trying to take you out for dinner, all they want to do is bang. So it's like,
I think that's better. I think that's better because that's the message they're showing these men. No, I don't think that's better objectively. What I'm saying is they're telling men, treat OnlyFans girls like whores. And I think if you're really those men, at least their off-air persona is the same. Myron's is clearly not. Because you could have been in my DMs, then it would have been consistent.
Then he's the only content creator who's not exactly like his online personality.
I'm not saying that everyone has to be, but I think it's more commendable when somebody is. And that's why his own audience was pissed at it in the comments. They're like, he's rewarding my behavior because I'm not the kind of girl that you're supposed to take to dinner. I'm the kind of girl you're supposed to say, come fuck, right? Mm-hmm. But you're not doing that. That's what you're telling your audience to do, but you're nice to me. You're not supposed to be. That's not what you're telling your audience to do. You're supposed to be you say that we need to uplift those good girls. Take one of them to dinner. Why are you rewarding my 304 behavior off air?
Lauren, why aren't you taking me to dinner? Why are you taking the 304?
Yeah, Lauren is much more your type, according to you.
That's so funny. Well, I understand where you're coming from. Simultaneously, I don't I think of all people that I've met, Myron has been more of the genuine of the people. I think he at least believes his shit, even if he doesn't maybe execute it 100%. But that being said, let's you want to watch some of this for a second and see?
Oh God, sure.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. I tried to find the place where your face.
Did you watch it already?
I watched parts of it and I noticed, but the thing is with Andrew, you don't really have to watch a lot of his content. The best shit is always within the last 5 minutes. So you could just wait for it to end. And then
the last 5 minutes, like after, once it got to the Q&A and shit, I had friends over, I wasn't even saying shit. Go to like the bulk of the, like, at that point, there was nothing happening.
So sorry, when I say last 5 minutes, I mean last 5 minutes before the Q&A.
Yeah, but the last 5 minutes before the Q&A too, it was like our closing statements. Like I was like completely checked out by then. I would say like go anywhere in like the middle.
Okay, your hands are up.
Also, I do want to give myself props because Alex said that the poll, I have done the best against Andrew of anyone on his channel except Destiny.
Good. Awesome. Okay. You want to go? You want to play it?
Yeah, I don't think it was. I feel like it was great.
So I actually wrote down, I want to ask both of you guys an interesting question that
okay, yeah. See, this is going to be all like, now he's going to go into Andrew about like drug legalization. Like this part was just irrelevant.
So many people are moving over. Only the religious are reproducing.
More women into breeding facilities. And then because every generation is thinking more and more like me. Younger people.
That's fine. You're going to end up dying with 5 cats and a bunch of dudes fat to you. Yay.
What do you think about that comment? You're going to be dying with 5 cats. Oh, before I ask you that.
I feel like I need to put the breeding facilities in context though. Did you see that hypothetical?
No, let me just read this super chat and then I'll let you go ahead. What's good, Lauren? Just showing love. It was great meeting you at, yes. Oh, DL Saint. Oh, that is so good to see you. Yeah. I'll tell you about Donovan's event afterwards. That was such an interesting thing that we went to. Donovan Sharp got married this weekend and he had like a major event. Sorry. So what was the setup for this premise?
So he was saying he's one of his main points is the birth rate declining, and I was like, he was like, if 80% of the women like stop giving birth, for instance, because they felt like it, because I was saying it should be a personal choice. He was saying, no, that's not okay. So I was like, okay, this is a hypothetical I put forth. What if 80% of the women, when they were giving birth, they were dying? What would you do? Because his whole thing is we have to focus on future generations and the continuation of the human race. I'm like, what are you going to do? Force them to give birth? And he said, yeah. And I was like, how would you do that? First, he said, we'll incentivize them. I'm like, what if they didn't want to? What if they didn't want to die in childbirth? And he said, then I think we should do breeding facilities. So that was his, that you can go to that part. So that's why I brought it up, because I'm like, how insane of a human being do you have to be to say that?
That I advocate for. I'm almost done, lady. The form of patriarchy that I advocate for is not even workable inside of. Stop talking. I'm almost done.
It really is workable.
Almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. And you can talk. The form of patriarchy which I advocate for doesn't even work inside of secularism. By the way, secularism can't. It can't. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, or you wouldn't have a society that can't reproduce.
If that's your only argument, is that okay? Then just wait. Because apparently we're all going to come out of existence, and then when you're dead, then you can.
That's actually the plan. That's the whole. Okay. That's the right wing's plan. Is to slowly move towards institutional power as you breed yourself out of existence.
I think we'll just wait, and until then, I think 2-minute warning, like 10 minutes ago. Because as Andrew stated,
sorry, what?
This is like this was when it was supposed to be like over. Like Andrew gave us the warning a while ago, and it was just so repetitive at this point. But basically, the question we had was, is patriarchy healthy for relationships? And I think I saw him debate Farha, and his point is that patriarchy, women and men can never be equal because they have men need women, or women need men to enforce their rights. I don't know if you've heard him make that argument. It seems like it's like his favorite argument to make. And then it got into, well, right now, what argument do you have to like a woman like me that I should have this patriarchal underpinning in my relationship when I have the enforcement arm? I'm like, you guys have no power in media. You have no power in academia. You have no power in the corporate world. You don't even barely have power on social media platforms. I don't agree with it, but tell me why, if you're saying enforcement is the way we do things, you have no enforcement. Why should I follow? Why should any of us center our lives around you, especially when our ideas are the ones are the ones that are winning? The males that are enforcing shit are enforcing my rights, not the ones you want. So you're losing. So why would we listen to the people that are losing? That was kind of like the crux of this by the end.
If I were to just like take his position, I would say the reason that women are winning and simultaneously we're seeing a decline in society and the immortality. And well, I mean, for instance, we have obesity like we've never seen before. We have and
that's related
sexuality beyond sexuality within our day-to-day lives at a rate that we've never seen before, such as like in our music and our television, everywhere. Our education, especially in America and the West, is basically in the toilet. We're having massive world wars. We're having
the world wars, I wouldn't say you could blame on women gaining rights. I mean, this is someone who says women shouldn't be able to vote. So I don't know how any of those things have to do with that. I would also say that same with obesity, that could be there. You can't just pick things like the people use this a lot. Women are less and less happy, or they're more on antidepressants. You don't know why that is. That could be because of the rise of social media, especially when they say it's because of the breakdown of the nuclear family. Yet every single study shows us that kids make women less happy. Then you can't at the same time say you can say happiness is difficult to measure.
Every single study says kids.
Institute of I actually had it because I thought it was going to be brought up, so I can even put it in for you. But they looked at 40 years of BSS race. Huh? I got it.
Yeah, go ahead and send it, and I'll put it on the screen.
Perfect.
How are you sending it? Instagram?
No, I'll put it in the chat here.
Oh, perfect. That'll be way easier.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh my God, I don't know how to use the computer.
But yeah, because you would think having children would.
How do you copy on a MacBook? I forgot.
Command C.
Okay. And then you paste by
Command V.
And interestingly, it makes both men and women less happy, but men's happiness actually has gone up recently with kids because they've been more involved with their children than before. But women's goes down, and especially in the United States, the gap is the biggest. And so did I do it wrong? You literally just search Institute of Family Studies, children happiness, and you'll get it. This one? Yeah.
Okay. Most studies relying data.
You can look at the highlights even on the side right there. Those are the findings, but you can go down and obviously they do a really good job of looking at the GSS, and there's the study, I think it's here, done on 22 countries. Both men and women report less personal happiness and less happy marriages when there are minor children around in the house. So I don't get the argument that conservatives make here about children being the reason that, or people not having this nuclear family unit making you less happy, when actually this is the reason, when this is also simultaneously there. So maybe it's something else. I think there's a good argument that we see with the rise of social media.
But just because you're maybe not happiest when you have like toddlers running around, which is interesting, but they also compared it to empty nesters. So that implies that you had toddlers, they were grown, and
if you read the whole thing, they do all of that analysis. So even and it's not just toddlers, it's minors. So it's anyone under 18 that you're taking care of. When you have children under 18 in your home, you are less happy and your marital satisfaction goes down. And they did so IFS, I mean, you've seen them before. They really break down a bunch, and they looked at over 40 years of GSS data, and they looked at a big sociology study done on 22 different countries, and this is the conclusion that they came with. Men actually have gotten a little bit happier over the 40 years. Women, no, they've been not fucking happy having kids. And so I think you could argue like, oh, well, happiness is difficult to measure, but you can in the same breath say that, but then say, oh, women's happiness is declining, and that I'm going to trust, but not this.
Well, I'm not saying that I don't trust it, but I'm saying, yeah, you might not be happy for like when your kids are in the house, but I feel like I would imagine like a woman in her 60s with grown children, or maybe in her 70s with grown children, who has like family events to go to and a full Thanksgiving dinner and future grandbabies on the way, has a more fulfilling and a happy life than maybe a woman in her 70s who maybe has a life partner, maybe has a divorce and no children.
I think that's a cute story, but we don't have any data for that. And also the only data, there was a study at a University of Michigan that was looking at those older people, and they don't regret not having kids, and their life satisfaction was the same as people with. I think the key here is meaningful relationships matter. Community matters. We know that this is better for you, but you don't have to do that through this nuclear family or having children. And all the information that we have currently out shows that the people who don't, no, you're fine. It shows that the people, that University of Michigan study shows that those older people you're talking about don't experience regret, and they have the same life satisfaction. They don't regret not having kids. And we have a ton of data that this Institute of Family Studies link indicates that shows that kids don't actually seem to make you happier. So I don't think that, I think that's a good evidence that maybe the reason conservatives say women are less happy may not be the case. There are other reasons, maybe like social media. I think there's good evidence that you see the happiness, especially of women, declining as social media has become more popular. I think that might be a better, because of that, that's a better guess, because all we can do is really guess because we don't have causation here. We just have correlation.
We have a super chat here by Batch Code, who's been killing it tonight. They say happiness and fulfillment are two different things. Is there a measurement for fulfillment that's separate?
They look at life satisfaction. So the way they show happiness and life satisfaction are different. And there's two types of happiness and life satisfaction you can look at. You can look at your there's like, have you heard of the experiencing self versus the remembering self? Those can give you different indicators. So if you ask someone to recollect how happy they are or how satisfied they are with their lives versus the studies they do where someone has like a click or like there's like a clicker and at the time that it clicks, you say how you feel. Sometimes those don't even add up. So they look at both of those when they're looking at life satisfaction as well as happiness. So it is difficult to measure because it's based on self-reporting either way. So you can argue, let's not look at it in general, but you can't pick and choose what you look at and then pick a reason why you think it's happening when there's actually data that points to the contrary. And we don't know why. And the whole argument about, when more women are on medication, I think especially after COVID, like everyone has ADHD now because all you have to do is you'll get a TikTok that says, can you not focus? And then you click a link and it'll take you to a telehealth person. Does everybody who's taking Adderall have ADHD? No, not necessarily. We're just medicating people more and more now than we used to.
Interesting. Well, interesting perspective. I understand where you're coming from. I think a lot of this is super hard to measure, especially, but at that point, I don't even want to get into it. So let's just finish this up really quick. You want to hear him talk about it?
Make sure you guys are not talking past each other. So Andrew, why don't you start off by steel manning Jazmen's position?
Yeah, Jazmen's position, it's kind of incoherent, but I'll try to get as close as I possibly can. She's saying that she thinks that we should do what's best for society based on a loosely formed harm principle. That seems to be what her argument is.
Andrew's position is that we should do what's maybe best for future generations based on his moral philosophy of divine command and whatever he thinks is best for the rest of society. Honestly, it's really hard to even know our positions, especially when we're actually talking about the
Did I do something wrong with your position or did I get it correct?
About my position on just in general, that we should have I think, okay, here's my position because I don't think you did a great job explaining it in one sentence.
Well, I'm just steel manning.
I don't believe that we have, unless you're going to do an appeal to an authority, which is a fallacy. I don't like to bring up fallacies in debates because I think it's but whatever you do. I ought in 2023 with the institutions we have in place now where you have no enforcement for what you want to any couple in the United States of America. Why should people, this is what you have to do. You have to, maybe this is why you're losing because you're going off into these abstract spaces.
Yeah, I'm totally losing. It's bad.
I think there's no denying that our institutions, like you had admitted, are following my principles more than your principles.
Yeah, but you're not breeding, so who cares?
How do you plan on changing that? I think one of the ways you could change that is by changing people's
lives. You're not breeding, so who cares? What are you, a cow? Wait, you're not okay, first of all, I'm pro children and I'm anti-promiscuity and I agree with Andrew on some points, but if your whole point is I don't think I'd be happier with children, and then he's like, well, you lose because you're not breeding, and then to phrase it as breeding,
I feel like from what I've seen of Andrew, he usually gets other people triggered, but I feel like I got him triggered. I mean, at one point he called something about me being a whore. He called me a degenerate. He really got, and obviously a lot of that audience is that's the thing. The fact that I got the closest to, I was neck and neck with him. At one point I was winning 53%, ended with 57%. Alex is usually it's 95-5, 90-10. And I feel like that was really clear too in the way he debated and the way I triggered him, because I don't ever usually see him get as triggered as I got him. And I also think that's because I was actually putting up a good, because that's his whole thing. Well, where do rights come from? And I'm like,
next, you should debate Rachel next, but it's really not fair. It's kind of like you just played there's the Major League Baseball players and then there's minor league. So I'd say Andrew's minor league, and then you would be going up against a T-ball league. So it wouldn't Rachel is Andrew's beautiful wife, just stunning.
Is she better than him?
No, she is not better.
Wait, she's on the internet too?
She is on the internet, and she thinks
I'm gonna Google her. I'm so curious.
she wrote a book called Occult Feminism, where
You wrote a book, or he did? Andrew.
She allegedly wrote a book. However, she can barely speak, so it's a miracle of
What?
technology. Yeah,
Also, I can't find Andrew. Okay, let me do Andrew.
Her name's Rachel. Rachel Wilson. Occult Feminism, OCCULT.
Have you read Myron's book since you're such a fan?
I have. I have.
You know what's funny? I only read the first page, which is on Google Images, and he quotes Rush Valizadeh, who's Persian like me, and he is literally out here like, I wish I never did any of that shit, because now the women that virgins want nothing to do with him. And Myron's gonna fall into the same fucking thing. I don't even think virgins want anything to do with him now. But for him to act like OnlyFans girls, he's like, you guys are gonna have to deal with these consequences. Men aren't gonna want to be with you. I'm like, what woman wants to be with a man who spends 7 hours a week talking about how women are inferior? I guess other than Lauren, nobody else really is into that.
No.
It's not masculine, honestly. Podcasting is not like, the girls that are looking for manly men are not like, ooh, podcaster who fights with women 6 hours a week. That is so hot. Like, go build a house or some shit.
I know, right? I think
not find this bitch.
Carpenter is super hot. Like, that's like the job for, like, that's a profession that I've always been.
Wait, what are the hottest professions to you?
Hottest professions, the hottest. Oh man, that's difficult, because I am not picky when it comes to professions. I think like manual labor is really hot, but then I also think like the white collar workers are hot too, like a banker or like a hedge fund broker, but then again, like I also like the lifeguards and the firefighters.
These are not the kind of men fresh and fit that we like.
I mean, yeah, I guess podcaster is definitely not the type of guy that
but they say that we only like you wouldn't like a lifeguard. You want to like that's what, they always say that you want a man who makes a shit ton of money, who's high value. And I just have never met women who are really like
shit ton of money with like, there's like shit ton of money, but usually they're not like in the best shape in the world. And like, they're not usually like the hottest guy. And then there's like, maybe not a ton of money, but he's like super fucking hot. So you have like there's like.
What would you pick if you had to pick one?
I probably care about looks less. I care, like, the most important thing is not looks or finances, is like making sure that you get along with them, having good conversations. For me, the most important thing is whether or not they'd be a great dad, like, because I want to be a mom and I don't want to waste time anymore dating losers. I want to date someone who I will eventually marry, and that person has to be a good father figure. And so,
what are you planning on? You just graduated and you passed. So are you going to be practicing in like what your ideal? I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm just really curious about this and I don't know how else I'm going to ask you. So what is your like 5 to 10 year plan if you had it your way?
I'm still waiting on character and fitness, which has been just like a nightmare. So whenever that fucking gets resolved, it's been over.
Do you have anything you're worried about not like affecting your likelihood of getting through? I had an OnlyFans and I still got through. So. But I've never had a speeding ticket in my life.
I got in an argument with the proctor.
And there you go.
That's why it's been taking a year and a half. And so
a year and a half?
Yeah.
Did you have to go like explain did you have to do all that?
They literally have not given me the opportunity yet. It's coming up. It's coming up. It is coming up, but I have yet to have the opportunity to even talk to them. And
are you getting one of those character and fitness lawyers?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah. Mine took a while. It was COVID. So they were like, I also I applied later than I should have. And it took 6 months, which I thought was a long time, but a year and a half, that's their, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I've been stressed. I have more gray hairs than I've ever had in my entire life.
Do you worry about your ability to get a job being hindered by your online persona and presence? Like doing shows like Fresh and Fit, I mean, I know it's not like OnlyFans. Like obviously you can still get a job, but I can see a lot of firms being like, we don't want to be associated with this. I had one of my lawyer friends who I wanted to bring on whatever with me, and she was like, I can't do you know what I mean? Like it's so embarrassing for a lot of, and she doesn't have a problem with it personally, but she's like, it's gonna reflect poorly on me in the firm if I'm on a fucking dating show. You know what I mean? Do you worry about that?
I don't, because I've had several people reach out to me asking me to work for them as soon as fitness is cleared, and they like found me through Fresh and Fit and whatever podcast and Nick Ricada and Legal Vices. Legal Vices is a place that I've had job offers, and I know that.
Good. I like that. I feel like they should let us just be ourselves. Instead of having this super clean internet profile, which a lot of firms do require, especially like the prestigious ones. So I already fucked it up, but I was like, hopefully Lauren can, because she's not showing her titties.
Yeah, and also like when I'm going on these podcasts, I'm being pretty respectful for the most part. Like sometimes I get a little ratchet or whatever, but nothing that I don't think you would. Yeah, I don't think I've done anything too egregious on any podcast.
Yeah.
I've basically been standing up for conservative rights and like anti-promiscuity, but simultaneously standing up for women and not letting people like Sneeko and Zerka and all those like gay losers try to shit on women because they hate women and want to fuck each other. Like,
did you experience you know how academia leans left in a lot of firm culture, but you're over in Florida, which is more conservative. Have you feel like that has hindered, like, were you part of like Federalist Society and shit? Oh, you know what's funny? When we were accidentally debating, I sent the link to Destiny's stream to like my law school friends. I'm like, this Federalist Society bitch is hard. He like watch me in this Federalist Society bitch go at it.
I was a part of Federalist Society.
Oh.
I was briefly a part of Federalist Society.
You all had the best lunch food.
Girl, can I give you the tea on my Federalist Society? I swear to God, this is a true story. The president of the Federalist Society was kind of dorky, but I was like, look for a law school boyfriend. He might be nice. Like he's the president of like the group I agree with. He's conservative. And so like we tried to go out, and it went really poorly because he was just like an asshole, and just like it didn't end up working out.
Like red pill vibes.
Extreme red pill vibes, but that's not even the problem. The problem was he was like in the closet, which is fine. But then like was grabbing like he would get drunk and then grab all the other members of the Federalist Society without and they were all like conservative law student males, and they were like, bruh, no, it was such an issue. So
I had a law school friend, which was a disaster, but hey.
The law school guys were really weird. Like they had like some ego to them, and I could
see you as a gunner, and I could see you dating a gunner. I'm not gonna lie, Lauren. Fucking 97% Barbary girl. Huh?
I did not date a gunner. I would never.
Were you a gunner?
I was
not. If I asked the students in your law, oh, you weren't? Okay.
I was not a gunner. If you were to ask the students at my law school, I was the annoying one that sat with a MAGA hat being like,
oh my
Roe v. Wade's gonna be overturned, bitches.
Oh my God, it is crazy that we're internet. Well, I feel like with lawyers on the internet, we all kind of have to be friends because we're already just being weirdos. But
I'm setting up a panel specifically for you, because where I'm inviting all of these attorneys to try to, so I've already gotten a few to agree, but it's so funny because some of them are like, wait, so-and-so is going to be there. I don't like so-and-so because so-and-so is so-and-so.
Really?
Those are like the top people. Why are you all pickering? That's so crazy. But
you know the lawyer I like? He was on Soft White and James Sexton. He's good. Have you seen him?
He's coming on my show. He was on
Soft White Underbelly too. Yeah. I'm a fan.
So I'm having him on in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we do a panel with him, I'd love to be on. And the ones that I was on with Legal Vices were all really nice too. Huh?
Yes, I didn't even think about inviting him until you just said that. So far, yeah, I'll invite him. I'll invite Legal Vices. I'll invite.
You just invited me, so I'm coming.
Yeah, you're coming. I already invited Chandler Remington. She's a law student, but she will be an attorney. I'm inviting Pisco. I'm inviting Nick Ricada. Nick already said yes. I'm inviting. So all the people, all the lawyer peoples, and what I'm thinking about doing is having like bullshit like legal cases. So recently, there's this Instagram account that's a lawyer, and her and her buddy, they argue over like Harry Potter issues, like would Hogwarts
Harry Potter?
What?
Like issue spotting in Harry Potter? What do you mean?
Like okay, like should Hogwarts be liable for negligence for allowing the students to enter the Goblet of Fire? But that was like one of the questions, and then they had 2 lawyers debate on it. So I think it would be really cool if we looked at like some pop culture issues and then had like, do you think this, that, or the other about?
As long as it's not on the paternity shit.
No, I think yeah.
I gotta remember. I'm like, yeah, you could issue spy, licensee, whatever the fucking the when someone comes into your house and towards those ones. What was it? Licensee. I don't remember. You took the bar. You know, like when you're responsible for something.
I have to respond. Legal Vices. I invited you a long time ago, not you. I didn't think about inviting James Sexton until just now. But yes, you're always
come on. I had a great time on your panel.
Yeah, isn't he the best? I feel so bad for I missed it that night because I
was deathly ill that night. Like I was muting myself every 2 seconds, like coughing like crazy. So they got the calmer Jasmine yesterday. Now that I'm feeling a little bit better, like yesterday, it's like, but he got mine, which is probably good because, you know, I get accused of hijacking shows quite a bit.
Oh, no, just because you're so pretty, I'm sure girls get like.
No, it's because like Fresh and Fit will bring on like 8 people who don't speak English and like don't research. So I was like, I'm going on this show. Let me research some of this stuff so I can bring them. Did you see me get kicked off for telling them stats? Did you fucking see that? Can we react to that? Because that was fucking crazy.
Find that clip. Jazmen Jafar kicked off. With that, or should I do 304 attorney gets kicked off?
I think they literally titled it 304 disrespects chat and like this happened when really. And the funniest thing is they've shot themselves in the foot because even their fans that hate me were like the OFC. Do you know what they were doing? They were deleting all of the people that were posting the stats that I was talking about. And they were deleting it because it's just fucking like me having to explain selection bias to Myron made me feel like I was a fucking 5th grade teacher. Like Fresh is a fucking idiot. I knew he wasn't going to get it. So I was like, okay, you just sit there. Myron, you have like, I think you have the cognitive ability to get this. Yeah, but like, when I was trying to explain to him that women initiating divorces is not the same thing as likelihood of women getting divorced, it like just does not register to him. I also brought up stats about the age gaps leading to a higher likelihood of divorce because these guys love to talk about the one Institute of Family Studies that body count can affect your likelihood of divorce. I'm like, every fucking thing you guys say to do on your channel, marry someone that's not college educated, increases your likelihood of divorce by a lot. Marrying someone 10 years younger than you increases your likelihood of divorce by 40%. And he's like, bullshit stats. And the funniest thing is someone did a super chat because people, I think is a compliment, always kind of compare me to Destiny. And they're like, Destiny got regulated to the couch. And he's like, no, Destiny uses real stats. Me and Destiny had literally DM'd about these. Like we were like, we hate how he fucks up the fucking college educated stat all the fucking time. And I was like, the 3rd time I explained to him that you're using a selection bias because you're looking at couples that are already getting divorced when college educated women are less likely to be in that group in the first place. And they literally kicked me off for lying about that stat. So let's watch it.
Let's watch it. Let's see what it is. Okay.
Are you do some typical episode?
79 says the problem is the police believe that they have
304. Okay, I think I'm on the wrong.
There's another 304 lawyer. Oh hell no. I'm gonna let the legal community know right now. I'm the only 304 lawyer. Okay.
Oh, this is a Donovan Sharp video. We were just talking about Donovan Sharp because
Donovan Sharp. I don't know people.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm not even explaining it. Yeah, I didn't know who. Okay, hold on, quick. Before we review that clip, I didn't know who Donovan Sharp was. I hope I don't insult him by saying that. But the night we were supposed to be on Legal Vices together. Donovan Sharp was hosting a party. It was before his wedding, and so I want to go to the Donovan Sharp party because I know Pearly thinks it's going to be there, and so I go there and I meet up with Pearly things and I have a good time and yada yada.
Who is he? A streamer?
I guess so. He's like a
okay.
red pill content creator. He had like this event and all the red pill people came and Pearl came to kiss the ring. So like he is somebody that you should like want to know if you're in the red pill space, I suppose. And then so I brought Pixie, and I guess he has seen Pixie's content before. And he's like, that feminist man-hating bitch, get her out of here. And we got kicked out of the fucking party. We got kicked out of the party. So wait, is this the right clip that I'm showing? Is it the Donovan Sharp?
I can't see it. With Ty Lopez. Does it say Ty Lopez at the bottom?
It says 304 lawyer insulted the chat, and this happened.
Yeah, this is the one. You probably want to go towards the end because I got kicked off like towards the end.
Oh, here.
Scared, and I overestimated your audience.
Yeah, but why are you back? So why are you back? If it's so,
is this Donovan Sharp responding to me?
Yeah.
I'm back because they're fucking
Here we
fans.
go. Yeah, that's it.
I make thousands of dollars off of coming on your guys' shows because your fans are fucking simping for me like crazy. That's why.
Oh, that's a good answer.
She's
fucked. Writing a letter.
You think I just am bored on a fucking Friday night?
One of your fans made a whole video is writing a letter to
That's because they know you're not a lawyer.
Oh,
that's like a rumor on the internet that I'm not a lawyer.
Oh, that's
baby. They know you're not an attorney. You are not licensed. You did not pass the bar exam. Stop it.
Circulating because one of my friends works for a judge, and the letter's so poorly.
You know what, Lauren? If I send you my real name and I have like a picture of my bar card, then you can go around.
No, because you don't have to do that because I've spoken to you long. So it's actually funny. The first night Pixie and I hung out, and it was the night that I knew that I loved her, and she was like going to be my friend forever. We hung out and we went to a bar, and some guy started hitting on us, and he was so creepy, and he's like, I'm an attorney. I swear to God this happened. And I was like, you're an attorney? What kind of law? And I started questioning him. And like within 5 minutes, I was like, this man has never passed the bar. Like I could just tell, and you could just tell this person has never been to law school, this person. And like having talked to you, even if I disagree with you, even if I think certain things you say are just wrong, or even if I say something stupid, like in a debate, what, you're dumb. Did you even go to law school?
Yeah.
Even if I fucking say that, I could tell you act like I could tell.
Yeah. So, but there is like a video of somebody like really like, and he wrote a letter. The letter's hilarious. I have a screenshot. It like everything's misspelled, and he sent it to every law school, and to be like, there is a porn star XXX lawyer, like just he didn't use the word decimating. He's not smart enough for that, but it is the funniest. And I had a friend that was still clerking. And I said, she's like, can I show this to the judge, my judge? And I'm like, yeah. So this letter is actually circulating a federal courthouse because it's that bad, that it's that funny, that I want the like judges to see it. Oh my God. You want me to read it to you? Actually, it's so fucking funny.
I love to.
It is hilarious. I can actually even send it to you like on, like send you the screenshot on Instagram if you want to like read it or put it up on the screen, because I don't know how to do that.
Oh yeah, that'd be fine. Or put it in the back chat because it's a little bit easier. Hold on. Do you want to finish watching this?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's just finish watching this really quick.
Okay.
So it's like circulating in like a federal courthouse.
Oh, you just said we were just.
I told them.
Hold on.
This lighting was fucking horrible. I said I look like an evil tomato. I literally look like my face doesn't look like that. Like,
but you know what I find really, really annoying? I think you're
What?
wearing the same dress that I wore a previous night, and then every dress that I've worn on Fresh and Fit, another girl has followed up wearing the exact same dress.
Is it from
no,
Skims?
no, what?
Is it from Skims? The dress?
Mine wasn't. So
But
maybe
it's like
you're.
similar.
It's like so. It's like identical.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
I think there's no way you could have been wearing that because that was like Skims' like newest release or whatever.
Oh, really? I wore like okay. I wore something really similar. Yeah, it wasn't Skims though. But then somebody wore the identical dress on whatever podcast, and then the blue, because I wore a baby blue one just like that with like more scoop. It just really irked me. But okay, let's go.
Also, I like have big boobs and big hips, but I have a really tiny waist.
Do you?
And so when I'm sitting, I do. I don't know if you've noticed, but
No, I didn't. You have boobs? Can you show the audience? So like, because I'm not actually sure. I don't believe that you actually. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Sorry. Go subscribe if you want to see them naked. I also just post them on like Twitter and shit. But if you want to see them like bounce while I'm getting fucked, that's where you need to go. But I've like hated. I'm like trying to learn how I can sit on these things where I don't look 250 pounds, because if you don't see my stomach, I look so fucking fat, and I feel like I looked huge on Fresh and Fit.
Are they real?
Yeah, 100%. And that's pretty obvious if you see them like on Reddit or Twitter. Like they don't sit like fake tits do. But I want a reduction.
Considered getting have you ever considered
I
getting a
want
reduction?
one really badly. I can't right now because my subscribers literally say they will kill themselves. But in like 4 years, I basically have to do it before my nipple right now is facing. But once the nipple starts, I don't want to wait long enough that I would need nipple reconstruction. Because if you wait till they point down, then the surgery is going to be worse. So I have to just do it before then.
Interesting. I'm learning a lot about
titties
right now.
I mean, look at your title.
I know. I love my title and my thumbnail. I love all my shit. After
that was hilarious. I loved it.
Wait, I'm like, I'm gonna have fun now because
it was maybe my favorite, along with the Satan the Sinner one that gave me horns and him like a halo. I was like, I like your guys' thumbnails. Alex's thumbnail, he could have done better, but it's okay. We'll have future opportunities.
Yeah, no, some thumbnails were boring, some are fun. Yeah.
I don't even know how to make one though, so I don't even know how to copy and paste, as we all saw.
I don't really know what I'm doing either. That's like the running joke, because I had an editor who would do it in like Professional Thumbnail Maker. All I do now is I take it onto like my iPad and I put it in like it's called Procreate. It's like Paint for iPad. And so you could like draw on it with and I literally just take a pencil and I like draw on the pictures. And
I'm so bad. My editor who's watching this right now messaged me, stop eating and stop playing with because it's making noise and you don't have a microphone. And I was like, okay, because I need this kind of fucking direction. Okay. That's why I'm going to eat this one last bite of my banana bread.
Okay. You have to do it in a sexy way. Oh no, too bad.
I'm going to starve.
Okay, let's while you have that in your mouth, let's get to this.
Sorry, Cisco.
Fucking physicist.
Pretty done that, man.
No, you said that last time and you kind of scared me, and then they've been looking up my fake name. My real name's not Jazmen Jafar, so I got a little scared and I overestimated your audience.
Yeah, but why are you back?
He was like, they're gonna find
why are you back? If it's so terrible, why are you back?
Oh, don't say that now. Don't say that now.
Now they're definitely.
No, I don't know.
Here we go. Yeah, that's
They've
it.
been trying.
She's
They're
fucked.
even writing a letter to every law school.
What?
Yeah, there's one of your fans made a whole video. He's writing a letter to every law school.
That's because they know you're not a lawyer, baby.
What?
They know you're not an attorney. You are not licensed. You did not pass the bar exam. Stop it.
Circulating, because one of my friends works for a judge, and the letter's so poorly written, so it's like circulating in like a federal courthouse because it's so bad.
It's true.
That is all cap. It's circulating in a federal courthouse? Really? Which one? What district?
Why would I tell you so that you can harass my life?
Oh my God. Arc Travel says, afraid of doxing yet totally cool with showing her butthole for all the world to see. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Obviously, because I'm showing my butthole because I want to. Doxing puts my safety, my privacy, and people who don't deserve to receive hate like out. And you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
A lot of people, most of the people that show their buttholes online don't want to be doxxed. So I don't think that's like a really crazy idea there.
I'm waiting for the part where he shows that you get kicked out. I thought
That's later. That's later. That's almost at the end. So he's gonna have to. I mean, it's almost at the end of the episode. So anytime you see me, that means it hasn't happened yet. This might be later on. Go. Yeah. This might have been later. Just go, like, see when I'm, like, going at it. There we go. Okay. Like, round probably there.
And some women aren't moldable. Yeah, like the one sitting on that goddamn couch.
You and competence.
Then we leave. But yeah, simple. I mean, yeah, if a girl's not, you want a girl that's going to follow your lead, she's going to be moldable, she's going to be more on your program. Like, guys or men.
Look, I don't give a shit about a woman's intelligence if she doesn't know how to follow.
Like and
okay, I think one thing that I don't really talk about as much.
That's I don't really care about the intelligence of my audience if they don't know how to follow and click the like button. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Follow and click like.
About Devin, as I'm always talking about how how she's got a great body and this and that, she's submissive. But guys, I'm here to fucking tell you, man, Devin is really smart.
Okay. We're less likely to get divorced too because money is a big.
So my editor says that when it's when they're looking at super chats, it happens when your screen is small. But I feel like we could just watch it from here because I feel like it's about to happen.
Okay, cool.
It's every year it's kind of the same thing.
This is chicken head chatter. This is chicken head chatter, man.
Yeah, that's why I really haven't addressed her like that. Like,
you guys have
I mean, chat rules, man.
Yeah, get her out of here.
Yep, chats. Just like.
I was like, look up my stats.
2023 isn't over yet, dude.
Dom says new studio is dope, gentlemen. Also, Destiny got relegated to the couch, so that's another W.
This was the part.
Your Destiny. I'll take it. You're the female
Destiny actually argues with
Destiny
real
is
facts.
cool. He said the same thing. In fact, we messaged about it.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So you're not saying correctly. Correct me then.
No, I am.
No, you're not, bitch. No, you're not. Destiny does the same thing. All he does is, dude, all Destiny does is go circular logic and this and that. It's ridiculous.
Matthew says, had no idea Twin Peaks was outside Colorado, but for girls on a panel, women's relationship be long-term, they need loyalty, dedication, perseverance, etc. Okay. We can cover that earlier.
Yeah, Paul Godin.
Go a little bit farther.
We're gonna but like physical abuse is too much.
Yeah.
Why don't you travel with them?
No, you can travel.
More. But like it has to be when I'm on the couch.
Michael.
There we go.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
And everything else like that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make ridiculous.
Yeah. See, she can't shut the fuck up for 5 seconds, man. Withgo says 3 or 4 lawyers deal breaker is not believing her boobs are real or that she's actually a lawyer. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Is he saying my boobs are fake? That's really obviously disproved on the internet.
Oh my god, this is wild. This is wild.
This is bimbo battle.
Stat claims or whatever.
These are like just look up Forbes 2023 stats.
We're on a show.
Okay, that's fine.
Baby, it's 2023. You mean 2023?
But the stats were published in 2023. But they're that's when Forbes published them. They literally published it, and actually, it's actually 2021 stats because it takes a second for them to actually get it. But they published it in 2023. So I'm helping him with the search criteria because I tried to pick a place they know because U.S. Bureau of Statistics they don't fucking know. They don't like Pew Research. So I was like, Forbes, since you guys are fucking money people, look the fucking stats up in Forbes because they're right fucking there, and they refuse, and they're about to kick me off for lying.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
That's.
What are you after?
Right, cool.
No. Ain't nobody looking for that after. No, fuck that.
Oh, I tried to show Myron after, and he got pissed and walked away. And I DM'd him. I said, "Here are the stats."
Initiate divorce, yes. But they're less likely to be in the group that's getting divorced. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And you say Destiny watched a reel of me saying that last time, and he messaged me like, "Oh my god, they always fuck up that stat." That's what I'm telling you.
So Destiny is.
Well, no, my point is, I got really pissed about this, and I talked about it with Destiny. I was like, Myron saying that Destiny, when he's using the same stat, he respects Destiny. So he's like, that's okay. But when I do the same thing because I'm a woman and he's intimidated by me, I'm lying and I get kicked off for it. So let's keep going.
Oh my god.
Right. Awesome. Got it.
I don't want to interrupt, but do you actually wake up and read all those articles? I like to read a lot.
Oh yeah, she's like, do you even wake up and read about? Yeah, I do.
many other girls are starting to.
Who was that?
I don't know.
Realize.
None of the bitches could speak English. The blonde one is cool. The one next to me on the couch is cool. None of them were like a problem, really. The last one, someone was like, "Shut up." That was like insane. I was like, I'm not ghetto. I don't know what to do here. But in this one, I don't know who even said that, but this one was like, I'm not even kidding. As soon as I got there, my friend and I texted her. I'm like, we're the only two people who speak English. Like, how am I not going to hijack this show? Yeah. I'm the only one who understands the question. They actually kicked the one girl left because she didn't speak English, and she's like, I don't want to be here. I don't speak, like, literally in the show. And another one, Myron, kicked off because she doesn't speak English. And I'm like, what is this fucking show? I'm like the only reason that this show has any fucking dialogue right now, because I'm the only English speaker here other than my friend Lana. That, like, what is the point of this show? For you to go around the table and ask a question and the girl goes, I feel very good. Like, that was literally it. And I feel bad for those girls because they should have known that they don't, like, clearly. And then why do you invite them on and then you're rude to them? Like, I completely.
No, what do you mean they should have known? Like, some of these girls, like, they think they're going on Tinder dates.
These girls clearly spoke. They were speaking French, like they were French. They're not even like Miami Spanish speaking people that are still like, they came to the United States to practice English, and you knew that, and you brought them on, and then you're rude to them for not speaking English. If I was running a show, speaking English is going to be a fucking requirement. I'm not going to invite people on who can't speak. But if I do bring them on, I'm going to kick them off and call them names and talk about how France is like a bad country and shit, like Myron did. Like, this is like, oh my god. All right, we could keep playing it.
Oh my god!
I should never
This
watch.
bitch has a fucking answer for everything. Do you really read like that? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Girls who look like that don't read shit. They don't read anything. They read their OnlyFans.
Girls who are hot
don't read.
If you're sexy, if you're sexy and you're above a D cup, illiterate, you're a dumb bitch.
This is the guy that's a big red pillar. He sucks. He doesn't even make really like these are his arguments against me, that my tits are fake when they're clearly real. You can look it up for 2 seconds, and that I don't read. Like,
I mean, I don't want to. I do think that line was pretty bad, but I do want to. I want to remain on good terms with this Donovan guy. I met him. He seems.
But if by remaining on good terms with someone, you have to not criticize their fucking insanity, then I don't think it's worth it. But you do you.
No, I hear you. Like, I try just not to like gossip about people. I do it, so like don't like make it real of me doing it. But like I'm trying not to like gossip.
No, I'm not doing that.
And if I don't like their points, I try to do it while like I'm in front of them so that I could address them. Like, I don't like your points because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, you did also say that you stand up for women, and this would be an opportunity where somebody's saying something egregious about women, about the way they look, and that correlating to their ability to read. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to be like, that's fucking stupid.
That is fucking I mean, I'm not like, maybe I'm not as pretty as you, but I consider myself.
You are.
I'm literate, okay? Like, I feel like I'm pretty fucking smart. And one
of
my friends in college was fucking stunning. Like, literally looks like a supermodel. And she was a mathematician, and she has her PhD in mathematics. So
they don't like that, though, because they don't like they think God can only give with one hand. And if somebody has both, then that's intimidating. But I don't know what to tell you. God has favorites.
You fucking bitch.
Sorry, Donovan. I don't really care about being on good terms with you. I mean, I'm like cool with like, if he was in front of me, I would like not like be like mean to him, but I'm also gonna speak my mind.
But yeah, no, and I felt really bad because he's the one who, when we went to his party, he made Pixie cry. And like,
oh
Yeah, so like I show up with my friends. I consider Pixie to be a very good friend. I also disagree with her on everything. Like I called her a murderer the other day for supporting abortion. Like
I've seen her before and I saw her on your stream. So you fucking tricked me because I was like, oh, she's gonna be on my side, especially because you said, oh, I was trying to connect with you, blah, blah, blah. And then I see Pixie. I'm like, liberal. Okay, at least she could do what I'm supposed to do because I don't fucking remember evidentiary standard of shit. And then I was like, oh shit, no, she's a Federalist Society motherfucker.
No. Yeah, no, that's tricky for a lot of people. People see.
But I did think that speaks to her character, that she is not only super kind to me, even though she disagrees with me, but that she's friends. I've only seen Pixie like argue like a couple times. I watched her on whatever. But the fact that you guys can be friends and that you've been nothing but sweet to me shows that you are more than capable of hanging out and being around people who disagree with you, which is a admirable trait.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure same with you. My only concern is like both of us as content creators in these spaces, it is very difficult to not argue with people, especially when people want to be right. A lot of their content is about like having opinions and being correct on those opinions. And then people take offense if you like think they have a stupid opinion, or if you say something negative about them, or if you talk about them. And so like I'm like always trying to walk on eggshells. And this Donovan person was pretty nice to me, and despite him kicking out my roommate, he like let me stay. Of course I left with her. Yeah. But I did have a moment where I was like, hey, like, why are you kicking me out? Why are you kicking her out? Can we talk about this? And I got an opportunity to talk to him and understand his perspective a little bit. But yeah,
what was it? What was his perspective?
So why he kicked Pixie out?
Just because he disagrees with her.
Essentially, but like the way he phrased it was, I am a man in the manosphere. I care about men. My whole life is dedicated to helping men with men's rights. She, according to him, she is a bad faith feminist who wants to destroy men. And I can't possibly have someone who is so like evil and demonic, essentially, within my space.
Oh, that's really reasonable. Okay, thank you for sharing the super reasonable response of this man who seems nothing but reasonable. She's like, his criticism here is really based on strong foundations, and I feel like all the men watching this guy are better because of it. Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel, Jasmine. So let's continue.
Donovan, don't excommunicate Lauren. Just me.
Sure, just Jasmine.
Just me. It's okay.
I actually do.
Yeah,
Okay.
you argue back and like I
Thank
said
you.
before, they've been throwing, and they've sent me this thing a million times, and it's just like, yo, they've been frustrating. I'm surprised that you're even here, to be honest. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they got mad at me because the producer let me on.
Any more, Chris?
Yeah, we do, but we have a screen share problem. So
oh wow, look at that, Myron.
Big lawyer is being very disrespectful to the podcast. She's lying about her credentials, pseudo-scientific studies, Frank Castle.
I have my bar card in my purse. I can show it.
Then let's go. Then show it.
She knows
I was
Come
gonna
on,
show it
let's
to
go.
them. I'm really glad I didn't because I honestly
Get her
feel
out of here.
now
She ain't no
Myron
goddamn
got me.
lawyer.
Because
Yeah, no, I consider myself friends with Myron, but there's times when he definitely like that one time he claimed that I did porn when I don't, and that's like a
like I think. And this is what I was saying about like Brian and them. They took my real ID, so they know my real name and they can search it and see that I'm telling the truth. But I don't think Brian would dox me. Like Brian isn't that kind of person. Obviously, you're not that kind of person, Destiny. So like you guys are people that I'd be like, here's my bar number, right? But I was actually really serious that I was gonna I wasn't gonna put it on air, but I was gonna be like, I can show you my real name so you guys can put this rumor to rest. But I'm really glad I didn't because I honestly feel like, especially with the way Myron's been talking after, like these stupid, like OnlyFans, like blah, blah, blah. He was mad I shared the screenshot of him trying to like hang out with
No, I would be mad if you shared my screenshots too.
Well, you kick me off for lying, call me all these names, but so of course I'm gonna be like, hey, because I honestly, after I sent him the research, I sent him the stats and I said, and I was like, here you go. And he read it and he didn't say anything. So I put the screenshot. I was like, maybe instead of trying to link, he can do some basic research for his show. That's what I did. I didn't share it the first time. I shared it months later because
I do have like a pain in my heart for leaked leaked messages. Andrew Wilson just leaked our DM. So I don't even leak our DMs, but I could leak DMs where Andrew's like begging me to say nice things about him behind our back and like our community because so many people hate him. And then I was like, oh, I'll be your friend. And he's like, I'd like that. Next thing he does is he tries to like set me up in some trap and try to get a lawsuit against me and then leaked the yeah.
What is going I don't know what is going on there. Obviously, I wasn't trying to spin anything. I shared the screenshot, one, because you kicked me off. You were super disrespectful to me. Two, I sent you the research and you're ignoring it. You're deleting the comments of anyone sharing the sources. You're being so dishonest. You're calling me all these names. So I'm gonna be like, hey guys, I shared the research. I was like, here are my stats. Myron, instead of trying to link with a girl he finds so egregious, maybe he can do some research. Nobody's suing anybody though.
Let's read the super chat. This one is Throwback Thursday to my last. So I recently interviewed somebody who possibly murdered their wife, definitely left them in the middle of the woods. Okay, here's the super chat. If I leave my mentally disabled wife in the Canadian wilderness and she dies, could I be charged with negligent homicide? I did not mash the potato.
I don't remember, honestly.
That's
Give Lauren a few years and she's not gonna, you don't remember Crim in 5 years later unless you're studying it.
Well, what criminal, hold on. Could I be charged with negligence torts?
What do you
think?
If I talk, it'll come to me.
Here's my issue. I don't know like what level of mental disablement or what legal requirements, especially for Canada, are needed so that you need to take some sort of like possession over, like, for instance, if a woman was so mentally
duty of care,
impaired,
it's a duty of care question, right? Like, what is your duty of care for somebody mentally disabled?
Yes, it is exactly. It is like, what is there? Because if you're going to be
lawyer comes through again. Sorry,
if you're going to be answering a negligence question, duty, breach, causation, damages. This is
first question is duty. What is your duty here? And
my other issue is if you are not of the mental capacity. If you're at such a low mental capacity that you need to have someone take care of you, are you even capable of being married? You know what I mean? Because you probably wouldn't have been capable of agreeing to marriage if you're of such a low mental capacity. You can't consent to marriage. So then how could unless you decayed in mental capacity, but she was allegedly consistently at a low mental capacity. So my question is, how could like a husband have
that would be relevant here about this question though?
Yeah, I think it would be relevant to know like whether or not a husband could even be charged with the duty of care for a wife when she had previously been at the ability to consent to marriage and she hasn't had a particular decline since the marriage.
I would say though that would hinge on whether the duty of care changes if they're married or unmarried, because maybe there is a duty of care if you took her to the will. I think the questions that probably would be pertinent here that would determine your duty of care, did you take her to the wilderness? Like, right? If it's like you walked by and somebody's dying, like that's different than you took them there.
I'm talking about the relationship duty in terms of like, okay, like,
do you have a duty of care to your wife that you don't have to other women?
No, you don't. But like you do, like as a father to a daughter.
Yeah, but that's different.
But husband and wife typically don't have that duty. But I'm wondering, because she's of a mental, that's where people are getting caught up, because she's mentally disabled. Is there some sort of duty of care that he took on upon his marriage to her?
Maybe the question is, if she's that mentally disabled, usually I used to do guardianships and conservatorships. Is he her guardian?
Yes. And can a husband be a guardian? Is like a sexual?
I know husbands can be. I used to do with special needs, so it would be like kids who turn 18 and their parents used to.
Right.
I'm pretty sure your husband can be your conservator. No.
I would imagine that would be like if you decayed throughout your. So like if like you married someone who like later had all
the requisite state of mind needed to be married.
Right, had the requisite state of time at the time of the marriage to get married, but then later in life lost that ability, I think that would be vastly different than the situation in which she's like, I don't know how, like what that duty could possibly look like, or if he took on some added duty just because she is mentally,
especially in Canada, we don't know.
Yeah, especially in Canada. Yeah.
We don't even know in the US because I never was taught much about that situation. Yeah. But Lauren may know more than me because Lauren paid attention to all her classes and completed Barbary. I did. So let's for all you the questions for Lauren now, because especially family law, because that was later in Barbary.
But we scored similar on the bar. No, I think so. Like you got above.
I literally had the minimums because you know how Alaska in the UBE has like, unless it's changed, has that. So I can literally practice everywhere, including Alaska, but it's not like I scored way more above that.
Do you remember how much more? Like a point? Or
like not much. That's all I remember. Because it's, again, I was just like, I fucking passed. The Supreme Court put out I woke up and everyone was like, congrats. I was like, whoo. And like, I didn't even check my score till later. LSAT is when you remember it for the rest of your life because every point matters. The bar for me is like, I just got to pass.
Yeah, no,
You'll probably forget your score in a couple of years. You won't ever forget your LSAT score though.
It's 10 points above the requisite for Alaska. So
okay. You probably did better than me then on the bar.
By barely, and I did like 98% of Barbary. So
I told you tests are my forte. Not a lot. Like actually, it's funny because I would have said things like moot court aren't, but now I feel like I'm seeing that I do have certain skills that if I, like you said, if I had the passion, maybe I would be a good attorney.
I know. I think you and we are going to do a class action lawsuit one day to get social media companies to stop screwing over content creators and stealing their hard-earned cash.
I'm down to do it. So Andrew's top comment of what if your defense team was Lauren and Jazmen? I feel like you're really well off there.
You would be representing Andrew if we did that too. That's so funny. Oh my God. We have to do this. We have to.
Yes. I feel like we could go viral if we ever did something like that.
That would be so. I actually do know I did my because I only did 2 years of law school. So
really? Oh, good for you. I needed every year I could get.
No, my summer internship, I actually worked at a class action firm, and they were always looking for class action. So that would be super fun. We could,
and that might be something I can still do, being a 304.
Yes, yeah. In fact, you would actually be really helpful in like terms of like the
content. I could probably still do like a lot like ACL. Like I could work for those kind of places, but like the really traditional.
No, because that type of stuff actually, it really you're not really representing clients. You're representing a class, and so a lot of the time, like your clients don't really get the option over it. It's whatever attorney brings the case. So it doesn't matter what your reputation is. It's like you're the attorney who brought the case. So you could either be a part of the class or you could opt out of the class. But that's your only option. So you could definitely be a 304 attorney and do that. But let's answer the super chat really quick. Max McDonald says, I have heard Roe v. Wade was legally poorly written, whether you supported it politically or not. The lady's view on that decision. Yeah, I would agree. It was extremely poorly written.
So that's your view on substantive due process in general?
No, I felt like Roe v. Wade, so it was, they found privacy rights within the penumbra of
which is also, as I remember this from family law, where it was built on other rights too, including rights. So I feel like if you're going to say that Roe v. Wade, you have to get rid of all those rights to privacy. You have to get rid of substantive due process in general, which I think there's actually an argument for, but you can't pick and choose, in my opinion, because if you're getting rid of Roe v. Wade, then you're getting rid of Griswold. You're getting rid of all of those cases that the substantive due process was built on. Me speaking as not a lawyer and no information on any of this, because I'm lying. But
can you remind me? Okay, because I keep remembering Loving v. Virginia, and I keep remembering Hodges v. Overfeld. But then someone brought up Griswold the other day. Do you mind just doing an IRAC of that really quick?
If I remember correctly, it was the birth control case.
Okay, fine.
Like
I
how we
actually
took the Connecticut?
I kind of agree. Then yeah, we should. I don't think Griswold's on super strong grounds, and obviously, I would be extremely against overturning Loving v. Virginia. But is that on the same grounds?
Yeah, it is, and it's Loving v. Virginia, and also there was some cases before about like a parent's right to choose about like their children. I forgot exactly. It was like, yeah, so all of those cases are resting on that substantive due process, which if you're going to get rid of that, then you're crumbling all that. And then we have to find different constitutional justifications for those. So I don't think that's good. I do believe in substantive due process. I think there are some good arguments as to, why it's not the best place to put it. Like the reasoning for that.
Law, like to say like, okay, even though it's not within our constitution, we're going to be looking up in the penumbra of rights. And if we genuinely wanted this as a country, then why aren't this cat is so weird. Why aren't
I like that's right in front of you too?
I keep doing it. Why wouldn't our legislators write in the Constitution, you have a right to privacy? If we can't even agree as a country that we actually want this right, then it shouldn't be on 9 people in a row to just declare that we have this right when it's not in the Constitution.
I wish that they did put it in the Constitution. I think it is a fundamental right that we should have had, but I do think you could make an argument that it's not in there and that we kind of made up that it's in there.
Yeah,
so I think that's a good thing personally, because I think it is a fundamental right. All of those cases, I agree with them. And I think that things like what you do in your bedroom, those kinds of things, because it's also Lawrence v. Texas was also another case about sodomy in there. And I don't want to fall into a pattern of like, well, I like Loving v. Virginia and I like Texas v. Lawrence, but I don't like gay marriage. Because if you're looking at the legal basis of it, then it takes all or nothing. Do people have a right to privacy or do they not?
The facts on the Texas case are pretty interesting because wasn't it just like 2 guys camping in a park and some rangers thought they were having sex and it turns out they weren't, but then and I guess they were wealthy enough that they wanted to take it to the Supreme Court anyway and they didn't care about like the issues, like the charges or whatever.
So I don't know. The Quinn give us all that backstory.
They just were like, we're just gonna pretend to be gay until this court case is out. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking it right. Watch me be thinking.
Probably. I have no information on it. I just know that's
wild. Like
I have the black letter law.
Like the people that
if you're on a time crunch and you don't have time to do 97% of Barbary, that's where you're going. Okay.
Oh, we got another guy here. So Lorda the Kino says a website host users submitted a link to copyrighted content. The website does not host the content itself. The website culpable for
copyright infringement. Copyright infringement.
Yeah.
I did take copyright. I took trademark and I did take IP. So I remember that. I'd actually like to know because I know that at least TOS on a lot of sites like Reddit do consider it, but I don't actually know if legally having the link counts.
It's like copyright infringement if you cite somebody.
So for instance, if someone shares a link to a file with my leaks on Instagram or Reddit, is that copyright infringement on Instagram and Reddit? That's, I think, the question.
Because it's a link as opposed to actually taking,
because the actual content isn't on there. It's a link to a different site that's hosting the content. I want to say legally no. Because
why no? Go ahead.
The only reason I'm going to say legally no is because that is the whole reason. For instance, Reddit doesn't let us host our own porn on there. We have to host the porn somewhere else and embed it into Reddit, so they can't be held liable. So I think this would fall under Section 230 of the Internet Communications Act, where or actually maybe not, because I think that's about, I don't know.
For me, what I thought 230 was like if your Facebook and other people are posting something defamatory on Facebook, Facebook couldn't be liable.
Yeah, so I was trying to see if that also counts for copyright infringement, but I'm not sure.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think even when people, I think 230 protects Facebook and like other hosts for copyright infringement. So like if I start posting your content and I'm engaging in copyright infringement on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, like I don't think they could be liable.
That's true.
230, but simultaneously it's still copyright. I'm still engaging in copyright infringement. And I don't think just because I'm putting it in a link, which links to it versus having it actually displayed, I don't think that changes whether or not it's copyright infringement.
I don't know, but I do know that at least TOS wise on all major platforms, they consider it a violation of TOS. Now, I don't know if that would be a violation of the laws. Like, do you submit? Because I have like the Digital Copyright whatever Act. A lot of OnlyFans girls, we pay sites, which I don't really care about leaks. I used to kind of like get pissed, but now they just make you more money. Oh yeah, I like learned this because a lot of other like seasoned creators would say like when I would try to work so hard to get rid of the leaks, I would lose money. I noticed that too, and sometimes I'll say like, "How'd you guys find me?" A lot of people are like, "I saw a leaked video." Like, you know what I mean? Exposure is exposure. But if you wanted to, you could get rid of all that stuff, and you can file, I think, a takedown request for any of the sites when there's just even a link to something else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. But is there anything?
Watch me get kicked off. You gotta finish. It's like literally almost happening. I think they're about to say. Chat says that you have to go.
Okay.
No goddamn fucking lawyer.
She speaks English.
Yeah, but
they don't like that.
Sometimes
a lot of English. Yeah.
They don't like when we speak English. Nah, she doesn't have a bar card. Her bar card is probably made up. Fuck out of here.
What's raw dog?
Get out. Get out. See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya.
And that's kind of why I didn't engage because
I stand corrected. Paul Godin says wrong. Girls that look like that read horoscopes. My bad.
I am like the biggest anti.
Same.
I think if someone asks me my sign, I don't block people unless they're egregious or they ask me my sign. Shut the fuck up about Leos and crystals and all that shit. I'm a fucking hardcore atheist. You think I'm fucking around with crystals and horoscopes and shit?
Girl, one time I went to go shopping with my girlfriend, like in a nice area in Orange County, and I was like so excited to go out with her because she was like, I don't know, she was a fun like shopaholic. The bitch took me to a crystal store.
I would have been like, I'm out. I'm sorry. I try to be nice to them, but if you actually talk, and I hate when someone's like, well, what is your sign? And then I'll like, I didn't know it for the longest time. And I was like, and I could see that you're such a blah. I'm like, you fucking dumbass. So
you say something different.
Commentary on me could be more wrong. Like, I actually like to read. I don't like horoscopes. I am a real lawyer and my boobs are real. Like, there hasn't even been one like correct piece of criticism in all of this, which is making me feel like I fucking run Fresh and Fit, because the fact that you can't find one thing that's true to say about me is kind of shows that I'm fucking winning. Why don't you pull up the stats, Donovan? Because I'm right.
Oh my God. So funny.
Okay, I think it's like happening.
I'll send them to you, and I'll post them on my Instagram.
We don't know. Just
the chat has spoken. Yeah, they want to run. So not personal, but yeah, you do hurt the quality of the show. So.
Oh, that's their new thing. You hurt the quality of the show, because the quality of the show, I guess, is speaking to women who can't speak.
Oh, there you go.
No, it ain't about that, bitch. Like stop talking and get out.
So
it's locals here.
Yeah. And I get it. You got to mark your OnlyFans, everything else like that. But it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
That was it. You were so peaceful about it.
I know. That was literally it. Even Icy was like, like it wasn't like, it was so like they actually literally kicked me off for telling them that their likelihood of divorce goes up if they marry women who are not college educated and under the age of 25, or if they have a big age gap. That was why they kicked me off. So I take that as a fucking honor, because that's how intimidated you are by literal facts. Facts over feelings, Myron, except when there are facts, and then you get in your feelings.
That's so funny.
And I did try to show him after because I had to wait in the lobby for my friend, the one that was sitting next to me. And it was like 15 minutes and he came down. I had him pulled. I'm like, Myron. And he literally was like, and like,
I think it's interesting that Myron did ask you out on DMs. I think that's so.
This was after the first time.
But, oh, okay, I see.
It was after the first time. So I didn't like immediately post him. That was like in July. And then this time he was really angry because I rejected him, I think. And I'm right. So then I sent him the statistics and I'm like, these are what you should have pulled up. He was just pissed. I tried to show him to him in person. He didn't want to see it. And so, yeah. And anybody who looked up what I was saying was like, I mean, they're very Googleable stats. It's not like even like you know, obviously when people get divorced in this country, there's record of it. And we know the demographics of the people that get divorced. We know your age. We know all that. So this is not something that's like up for even debate, is the likelihood of divorce for education, age, etc. These are very, very concrete statistics.
Right. I mean, fair points. So, can you just tell us, I have your YouTube handle in the description. Can you tell us your OF stuff and sign off and tell us?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I am trying to do YouTube now. So see me there. And my OnlyFans is JAZMEN, Jazmen00. If you go to jasmenjafar.me, that has all my links, Instagram, YouTube. I do go live on Twitch only once a week, and I like to discuss like real shit with like my fans, like philosophy, psychology, stuff like that. If you're Mr. Donovan thinks I don't read, but we actually do read. We literally talk about books on the thing. So if you're interested in that, you could do that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having me on, Lauren. Thank you for treating me with nothing but respect. Not that I care really when people don't, but it's always nice to see when people who can disagree on a lot can still vibe.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And thank you everybody for tuning in. I love you all, including my haters. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Alrighty, bye.
Bye.